They're worried about gun safety. 85 with a few clouds this afternoon. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 3:02. Concerned members of the clergy in Indianapolis say they're already seeing problems with Indiana's new permitless carry law.
We've got young people walking around with guns now since July 1st that don't even have a holster. They're just carrying it in their pants pocket.
Pastor David Green talking to Wish TV. He's part of a group known as the Concerned Clergy of Indianapolis. They're worried about a lack of gun safety in the state. Town leaders in Zionsville can cover payroll and keep gas in their police cars and fire trucks, but that's about it. John Herrick explains why.
In Zionsville, they use the software OpenGov to keep track of and pay their bills. But now that software system has a glitch, which prevents town leaders from seeing how much money it has, how much money it owes, or what bills need to be paid. Zionsville Town Council President Jason Plunkett discussed this at their last meeting in June.
I did ask that we keep it on the agenda so that we could yet again just publicly state our concerns with OpenGov. The platform will not allow the finance team at this point even to get basic data to run our claims in time.
The council was scheduled to meet next on Monday, but that meeting has been canceled. John Herrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
2 teenagers hurt after a shooting at a gas station on the west side this morning. Police found 2 male teens at the scene. They say they were in stable condition. After speaking to a relative of one of the victims, police believe they could have been involved in a drug deal and someone may have robbed them. Burn pits, atomic testing, and contaminated water on bases all put veterans in danger while they were serving. Now the government may be assuming the cost of treating those illnesses.
It is not enough to simply say thank you for your service to our veterans. It is through our actions that provide proof we have our veterans back and value their service.
Indiana Representative Frank Mervan speaking in favor of the Honoring Our Pact Act, which passed the House Wednesday and the Senate in June. The Hendricks County Sheriff's Office says David Burgess, a 16-year-old who was reported missing, has been found safe Thursday afternoon. You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 3:04.
There's a reason Comcast Business powers more businesses than any other provider. Actually, there's a few. Comcast Business offers the fastest, reliable network, the peace of mind that comes with Security Edge, helping to protect all your connected devices, and the most reliable 5G mobile network. Want me to keep going? I can. Whether your small business is starting or growing, you need Comcast Business. Technology solutions that put you ahead and give you serious savings. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Get internet and security for just $60 a month when you add mobile and save $480 your first year. Plus, ask how to get a $500 prepaid card with a qualifying gig bundle. Limited time offer, restrictions apply. Requires EcoBill and AutoPay. New Comcast Business 250 megabits per second internet and Security Edge customers only. 2-year agreement required. Equipment installation, taxes, and other fees extra and subject to change. Must add mobile within 90 days of internet install and keep all services for 12 months to receive discount. Comcast Business Mobile utilizes the network with the most RootMetrics 5G data reliability wins in 2H 2021. Results may vary. Award is not an endorsement.
With traffic on the 5s, here's Matt Baer.
All right, Harrison, looking at 86 and Ditch. That's a crash. Eastbound 465, stop and go. Keystone Avenue past Allisonville Road. Southbound Keystone Parkway coming down from Carmel. Heavy, slow from Carmel Drive down to 116th Street. And then on the east side, southbound 465, starting to slow 70 down to Washington. Traffic sponsored by ExpressPros.com. Don't stress about finding a new job. Let Express Employment Professionals help. Visit ExpressPros.com for good local jobs in a variety of industries. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Now the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Should be a nice afternoon. High temps in the mid to upper 80s as we head through the day today with mostly sunny skies. Tonight, low temps bottom out in the low to mid 60s and a few spotty shower chances during the day on Friday with our highs in the mid 80s. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 Stephanie Mead for 93 WIBC.
I'm Harrison Silcox on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Can you believe these characters are weirdos?
On 93 WIBC.
So let's rock it!
My name is Nigel. Brian Baker is a writer, producer, and host here at 93 WIBC. He is filling in for Jason Hammer. Brian, when the number 9.1% hit you yesterday, first thoughts, initial thoughts running through your brain?
We're all going down together. Hold hands. Make a friend.
Inflation report exceeds forecast is the headline. Inflation reports exceeds forecast 9.1%. Highest since 81. And then, of course, we have fears of the recession around the corner because of this dismal report.
Yet, Nigel, I would like to get a job as one of these forecasters because it appears as though you can suck at your job and still collect a paycheck. These guys never get it right. They're either above or below, and it seems as though under a Biden administration, they're usually below the reality of where inflation numbers are going to arrive. And it's just heating up, by the way, Nigel. I mean, just let me go ahead and throw some panic on top of the fear.
Great.
It's going to get worse because we had the producer price index come out today. That's 11.3%.
What's that?
So that kind of gives, that basically, the producers of all of these products that you're buying, their costs are going up, and that gets passed along to you, the consumer. So wait until you see the numbers next month. It's going to be a lot of fun. Get and stock up on alcohol now, Nigel.
Well, that's never been a problem for me. I'm going to play you some audio here. I've played it before this week. It's my favorite piece of Biden audio on why inflation is happening right now. Go ahead.
We are suffering from inflation imposed as a consequence of what's going on in Ukraine, but we have the lowest rate of almost every major nation in the world.
Lowest rate of almost any major nation in the world, and it's all because of Ukraine. What do you think of the... the U.S. has one of the highest inflation rates in the developed world, I believe is probably the more accurate description of what's going on.
Yeah, he's still running with that Putin price hike line there, isn't he? Now, you know what, man? Listen, there are some things I will legitimately give the president a break on. Some of what we are experiencing or had been experiencing up until now was the result of the just a massive amount of new dollars that we threw into the economy. I mean, we printed like 7 trillion new dollars, Nigel. You can't just put that into the U.S. economy, have this sudden influx of new cash and have that not ultimately result in higher prices for goods and services. But what you're seeing right now, this is the direct result of gas prices because oil is baked into everything. And so until we get a handle on that, prices will continue to rise. And it doesn't really matter how much the Fed does on interest rate hikes because that's not going to affect what people are paying at the pump. We have to get domestic energy right, and we have to get the proper balance with interest rates from the Federal Reserve because it's a delicate game. It's a delicate balance. You want to get inflation under control, but you don't want to throw us into a recession. Although I have a suspicion that we're already in a recession just looking at the PPI numbers.
It's funny you mentioned gas prices because that's one of the things Biden has said about the inflation and the 9.1% highest since 81, by the way, if you missed that earlier. He's trying to spin it. He's trying to spin this number is not accurate because of the gas prices coming down. Because in the past couple of weeks they've gone down like what 30 cents or something like that. So he's saying his spin is these numbers aren't accurate because of gas prices are coming down now.
He's an idiot. You got to look at the long-term trends, man, and we are way up from where we were previously. And by the way, taking credit for gas prices coming down a measly 20 cents, 30 cents per gallon, that's not significant, Nigel, because you have to have an understanding of what the fundamentals are right now. And the fact is that they are continuing to shut down domestic energy production while Biden's going over on his hands and knees and, begging for help from Saudi Arabia. And at the same time, we're continuing to let oil trickle out of the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. Well, that's, listen, that is not an endless, bottomless pit of oil that we've got there. So there are a lot of things that can affect gas prices, a good 20 to 30% day to day. A lot of things are ultimately calculated in the price that you wind up paying at the pump. But 20 to 30 cents. And again, look at what producers are paying and look at what's happening to manufacturing. Manufacturing is the first thing to go when the economy turns to crap, and it's the last thing to come back. And manufacturers are having major challenges right now, Nigel.
I mean, and when you look back to the gas prices for just a second, the manufacturing, that's really troubling. But the gas prices have not come back down to May levels in either June or July, right? So they were lower in May, but June and this month, they're still way up year over year, 60% since the Biden regime took over. And he tries to get the gaslighting with this guy is unbelievable. Plus, we're writing, blank checks to Ukraine, sending another $1.7 billion over there. And like you said, hat in hand, headed to Saudi Arabia, begging them to crank open the spigots there when we can just as easily do that here in America. But the executive order he signed January last year, 13990, shut that pipeline down and put massive restrictions on oil refineries and didn't. And by the way, the reason the gas is so high, the price, is ironically because of Joe Biden's policies.
Well, but think about this too, Nigel. I mean, this is just how sick our government is, and how completely inept at running anything they are. We're buying these solar panels from China, right? Because we're going to move to this new green energy economy, right? So we're buddying up to China here. At the same time that China is buying oil from Russia on the black market. And on top of that, we're shipping them oil from our strategic petroleum reserve. The fact that no one on the Democrat side is willing to step up to the plate and call this president out on that, it is mind-blowing to me, because as much as we've got plenty of Trump homers on the right, at least we have some folks with integrity that called him out when the president was doing stuff that was going to screw us in the long run.
Could you imagine President Trump sending 1 million barrels of oil to China, and the company that he sends it to has financial ties to one of his sons? But that's what happened. That's what happened with Biden. He sent like 5 million barrels of oil from the strategic petroleum reserves. 1 million of those barrels made it to China and are now they went to a company that has financial ties to Hunter Biden. Are you kidding me?
Not only that, but House Speaker Skeletor was on record criticizing Trump during his administration over a jump in gas prices that I think amounted to less than 10%. Demand was way up at the time, and she was just all over that. Oh, how could he do this? And this is Republicans' failed domestic energy policies, and people are suffering, and Trump doesn't care. Well, I don't know about you, Nige, but I appear to be struggling much more under the Biden administration when it comes to energy costs.
And so is small businesses. The National Federation of Independent Businesses say optimism among small business owners is at its lowest level in 50 years. More than a third of the small business owners say inflation is the biggest problem they're facing, and they're struggling to fill out their staff. More than 10 million job openings in the United States for 8 consecutive months. It's small business owners, and not only private citizens, but business owners as well that are taking it on the cheek.
Yeah, and it's not just small business owners, Nige. It's these far-left radical liberals that own the big companies like Facebook. Zuckerberg is under fire right now for coming onto a big company-wide meeting and letting his employees know, listen, we are facing what might be the most challenging period in our company's existence going forward. And people are mad at him for, speaking the truth. But again, I would love to know who Mark Zuckerberg voted for when he went to the polls. Wouldn't you?
I would love to know that.
And how many times?
Yeah. Good one. I like that one. Matt Bear, what's up with traffic?
Eastbound 465 stop and go Keystone over to Allisonville Road, and then on the south side, eastbound 465, slowing down from Harding over to 31, and southbound 465 on the east side slow before 70 down to 74. Traffic sponsored by BJ's Wholesale Club. BJ's Wholesale Club is coming to town, opening soon in Noblesville. BJ's has up to 25% off grocery store prices before coupons, and they have lower gas prices every day. Join today. Go to bjs.com/Noblesville. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Well, Brian, COVID cases are on the rise, and so are Dr. Fauci's television appearances. We'll get to that here in just a second. It's 85 at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center, 93 WIBC.
Do you need air conditioning service and are looking for a local dealer you can trust, like Marshall Mechanical in Franklin? Find that American Standard air dealer at IndyHomeComfort.com.
Get ready to get to Brownsburg for 2 live radio shows and raise some serious cash for Brownsburg Blessing Boxes. Tony Katz here, and on Saturday, July 16th, Premier Arms in Brownsburg is the place to be.
Guy Relford here, and Tony is exactly right. Saturday, July 16th, we'll have a live broadcast of Tony's Eat, Drink, Smoke show, and then a live 2-hour Gun Guy show at Premier Arms in Brownsburg, where we'll be raising money for Brownsburg Blessing Boxes. Great cause to help feed our neighbors in need.
Every donation donation over $100 makes you eligible to win some amazing prize packs. There will be food and cigars for purchase, of course, and me and Guy Relford.
So join us at Premier Arms in Brownsburg on Saturday, July 16th from 3 to 7 p.m. for the biggest live radio event of the summer.
It's all happening at Premier Arms in Brownsburg, 3754 South Green Street, Saturday, July 16th, 3 to 7 p.m. Be there.
Old National Wealth Management is asking investors to get old. But first, people have questions.
Now, if I get old, will someone explain how bond prices and yields go in opposite directions?
Yes, your own wealth advisor's there to make everything clear.
No matter how many times I ask.
Absolutely.
Because I kind of ask a lot. I ask about 401ks, too.
We love questions.
Okay, put me in the old machine. I'm ready.
Introducing Old National Bank, where business relationships and results matter. Old National Bank. Get old. Member FDIC.
Hello, Indianapolis. Looking to save money on your wireless bill? You can when you choose Consumer Cellular. Sign up today and you'll get the exact same coverage as the leading carriers for half the cost. This gives you direct access to the widest, most established cellular networks available. Consumer Cellular offers flexible monthly plans with no contract and simple, affordable service that's perfect for your lifestyle and budget. Featuring a wide variety of top-of-the-line phones from Samsung, Motorola, and Apple, you'll find a phone that's perfect for you. Everything is backed by a 100% risk-free guarantee, plus 100% U.S.-based award-winning customer support. Switch your talk, text, and data today and save up to $250 a year. Right-size your plan and downsize your bill with Consumer Cellular. Visit consumercellular.com/Indianapolis to start seeing the savings today.
Man, I slept.
New ZzzQuil Pure Z's Restorative Herbal Sleep is made for people who are tired of being tired.
I've never slept like this before. I've never woken up like this before.
A melatonin-free sleep aid made with a botanical blend that contains clinically studied and effective valerian root, hops, and passion flower, shown to help promote better restorative sleep. ZzzQuil Pure Z's Restorative Herbal Sleep. Sleep this good, feel this good. Available at retailers near you.
Dell's Black Friday and July sale is here. Power productivity with a tech refresh, now with up to 45% off top-rated laptops like the XPS, along with our special deals on business desktops with Intel Core processors. Get big savings on the latest servers, storage, monitors, and more with free shipping and special financing with Dell Business Credit. Upgrade today by calling 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Hammer and Nigel here, inviting you to join us as we kick off the weekend every Friday around 5:45 with Beer Sample Friday, brought to you by our friends at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
When the weather turns severe, turn to the WIBC Storm Desk, presented by Technology Recyclers, corporate electronic recycling. Visit tech-recyclers.com.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by thehomeloanexpert.com.
I think it's awesome.
The Hammer and Nigel Show on 93 WIBC.
You rock.
My name is Nigel. Brian Baker's filling in for Hammer. It seems to be a bit of a rise in positive COVID tests around the nation. So that means old Dr. Fauci, old flip-flopping Fauci is out and about there preaching masks again. Here he is on CNN recently.
You see, if you look at the map, where just a couple of months ago it was a lot of green and some yellow, now we're seeing a fair amount of orange, which means you really should, in an indoor setting, a congregate setting, be wearing masks. It's just the appropriate thing to do to protect yourself and your family.
Yeah, so Brian, a couple things here. Democrats have made it clear that they don't care about positive tests anymore. All they care about is hospitalizations and deaths, and that's what matters. And now all of a sudden, they're looking at maps with hot spots of positive COVID cases that are on the rise. And again, the other thing here, the data, and several studies have been done that make it abundantly clear that cloth, these China-made cloth masks don't do anything to stop the spread of this thing.
Yeah, you know what's funny to me, Nigel? I was on earlier this week with Ethan, and I was talking about the fact that the medical community is not as careful about the transmission of the COVID virus as the world of entertainment is. We have to go through so many different. We have to follow this protocol with getting tested before we walk onto a set, and you got to wear these masks, and you got to disinfect, and you can't go with people that are in Section B if you're Section A. You can't use the same bathrooms. I mean, there's all kinds of weird crap going on. And the biggest spike right now is actually at these major studios out in LA.
Really?
So I think, I think everyone is hip to the fact now that there's not much we can do. You can certainly go with the standard stuff that all of us should be doing, like washing our hands after we utilize the bathroom and just being careful. But I mean, masks, even the vaccines, I think it's up at this point in time, man. Everybody's going to get it and probably get it multiple times.
Yeah, and I mean, there's been several studies. The Waterloo study, the Danish study was very significant. There's a study back in May. The highly regarded Cochrane Library said that medical and surgical mask wearing makes little or no difference to the outcome of, compared to not wearing a mask. And they did 2 randomized controlled clinical trials of the effectiveness of masking in COVID-19, didn't demonstrate any benefit whatsoever. There was another smaller, marginally statistically significant reduction in viral transmission for the KN95 surgical masks, but nothing for cloth masks. And the surgical masks are really kind of a joke too. You've got to wear them for a prolonged period of time. You have to wear them. You have to be properly fitted for those things. And I don't know how readily available those kinds of masks are. Although I saw Dr. Jerome Adams, former Surgeon General, virtue signaling and wearing one on a plane the other day. So he has access to them at least.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I get a backpack full of them because when I go onto a set, they have the medical team and the COVID team. There's usually about 8 people that are on a set, and it's their job to yell at you when you do anything that potentially, because you could spread germs and cause death and chaos. And so they're I have not had to buy masks, and I have not had to buy any of those Sani wipes when we sit down at lunch, the big catering tables. I usually grab a couple of big packages of those. Yeah. We've got all kinds of supplies, man.
Don't you feel lied to by Joe Biden, though? I mean, I hate liars. I've got a montage here. I believe Mr. Joe Biden campaigned on shutting down the virus.
I'm not going to shut down the economy. I'm not going to shut down the country, but I'm going to shut down the virus.
I'm going to shut down the virus.
I'm going to shut down the virus.
I will take care of this. I will end this. I will make sure we have a plan.
I'm going to shut down the virus. I'll shut down the virus.
I'm going to shut down the virus. What I would say is I'm going to shut down the virus.
I'm going to shut down the virus.
Look, there is no federal solution. This gets solved at a state level.
That's my favorite part. The last part where he goes, I'm not going to. I'll leave it to the states. We'll leave we'll leave COVID and Roe v. Wade to the states. All right?
Yeah. I don't buy, am I mad? Do I feel like I've been lied to by Biden? Nigel, if someone is a raging alcoholic and has 20 DUIs on their record and they come to me and say, hey, can I borrow the keys to your car? I got to run to the grocery. Don't worry. I won't get a scratch on her. And I give the keys over. Who's the dummy?
Yeah.
The dummy is the person that actually went and voted for Joe Biden, because this is stuff that we all saw coming down the pike here. We talked about it prior to the election. We warned about gas prices. We warned about vulnerabilities on the world stage, and nobody wanted to hear it because they didn't like Donald Trump and his mean old nasty tweets.
Well, he said he was going to shut down the virus. Kyle, can you give me Mondo does a good impression of the.
Hey, said Joe, I'm going to shut down the virus.
Pretty good.
Anyway.
There it is.
And then, of course, he promised, I think he said something about curing cancer on the campaign trail. You elect me, we're going to cure cancer. Hey, one more thing here. And you mentioned you work in the movie and film industry down in Georgia. We were talking about the Emmy nominations yesterday. And one thing,
are you giving a tour in the WIBC studios back there?
Oh yeah,
are you already showing office space to the
somebody just called us here. But anyway, one thing I forgot to mention yesterday was that Dave Chappelle's comedy special, The Closer, is nominated for a couple of Emmys, and people are outraged because of the transphobic jokes. They even walked out of Netflix because of this, and now that's been nominated for an Emmy. And I'm wondering what that says about Hollywood and their attitudes towards some of the woke policies.
You know, I saw this, Nigel, and I was quite encouraged by the whole thing. I did laugh about the walkout at Netflix because it appears as though they got those about once a week now. It's like in the employee calendar. It's, you know, time for the annual march of the woke folk. Excuse me. Jeez.
I think we
sorry.
got it.
All right, good. Yeah, you know what, man? I mean, Chappelle, and I say good for Netflix too. I mean, I know the conservatives, we were all upset with them about the Cuties and some of these other programs that they've had, but God bless them for at least taking a stand and being behind free speech and letting artists do their thing. They've been really good about that, and I've seen it behind the scenes as well, just the difference that they're making in the industry. So to see Chappelle have that platform to not bow to the woke, and now on top of that to get nominated for an award, I think that's extraordinary, man.
Coming up next, financial analyst Heather Zumaraga. She's been on Fox News. She's been on all over the place. She knows a ton about the stock market, and we'll get to the bottom of what's going on with this high inflation. And that's next. It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Remember that sweet sound of the ice cream truck pulling into your neighborhood? Well, life isn't as carefree as it once was, but I still get that same feeling when I see the Zero Res van pulling into my neighborhood. This is Denny Smith, and I only trust Zero Res and their technicians to clean my carpets with their patented cleaning process that leaves my home looking its best. Right now, call 317-388-5141 and mention Denny Smith, and you'll get 4 rooms of carpet clean for only $169. Or use promo code ZeroRes7 when you schedule at ZeroResIndy.com.
Garage Doors of Indianapolis is everything that's right about Central Indiana. They've been locally family-owned for 50 years, helping our local economy remain strong by employing 70 families. Garage Doors of Indianapolis is proud to do business right here in the great state of Indiana. They're a conservative-minded company that shares our values and stands by their products and services. You can call Garage Doors of Indianapolis today for service today. 875-4577, 875-4577, or visit doorstoday.com.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
A glitch, but a big one. 85, partly cloudy, low of 64 with a clear radar. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 3:30. In Zionsville, they use a software called OpenGov to keep track of and pay their bills. But a glitch in the system is preventing town leaders from seeing how much money the town has, owes, or what bills need to be paid. Zionsville Town Council President Jason Plunkett.
I did ask that we keep it on the agenda so that we could yet again just publicly state our concern with OpenGov. The platform will not allow the finance team at this point even to get basic data to run our claims in time.
The council was scheduled to meet next Monday. That meeting, though, has been canceled. President Joe Biden is meeting with Saudi officials Friday. Some are wondering if Jamal Khashoggi will be mentioned. His widow, Hanan, tells America's Newsroom what she would say to Saudi's crown prince.
I will tell him, you will regret if you know the truth about Jamal. And anyone involved in his crime, they will regret.
Jamal Khashoggi was killed and dismembered inside the Saudi embassy in Turkey in 2018. The CIA says the crown prince ordered the assassination. Police think it could have been a drug deal gone wrong. 2 teenagers were shot at a gas station on the west side this morning. They're both expected to be okay. IMPD believes it could have been a drug deal and someone may have robbed them. Letting your anger get the best of you while you're driving could get you arrested. Chris Davis reports on what happened on I-65.
A guy pumped a couple of bullets into a truck, say Lebanon police. This is how they say it went down on a hot afternoon last Tuesday. They're just now getting the info out. Craig Jones III of Bloomington was riding in a Chevy Malibu and took out a gun and shot at a Chevy truck on I-65 in the city limits. Police described the shooting as successful, meaning that the truck was hit, but no one was shot, apparently. They didn't say what beef Jones had with the truck or the people inside. He was arrested on 4 charges. Chris Davis, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
The Indiana Pacers made a free agent signing today. Phoenix center DeAndre Ayton has agreed to a 4-year, $130 million max contract. The Suns, though, have 2 days to match the offer or let Ayton go. You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 3:31.
Being present and in the moment for family activities was impossible because Will Burt was so focused on the constant pain in his leg.
My wife likes to take walks. I always kind of dreaded going on walks because they hurt. The boys both play baseball. I coach their teams. I was going to do them and be in pain and be uncomfortable and kind of sacrifice my own health.
An old Achilles injury left Will coping with agonizing pain until he discovered the natural biologic treatments at QC Kinetics. No surgery or steroids. The procedure took place in the office, and Will walked right out.
I feel great. There's no pain. There's no tenderness.
Patients like Will are feeling amazing and living their best lives.
Ironically, just got off the golf course today, so I think that's a good telltale sign that the Achilles is feeling better.
Don't be in pain another day. Call QC Kinetics for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 463-235-7160. That's 463-235-7160. In Eagle Creek and Greenwood, 463-235-7160.
With traffic, here's Matt Baer.
All right, Harrison, we're looking at eastbound 465 stop-and-go traffic, Keystone Avenue over to Allisonville Road. And then southbound Keystone Parkway coming down from Carmel. That is stop-and-go traffic before Carmel Drive down to 116th Street. East side southbound 465 stops after Penn Pike down to Washington Street. Traffic sponsored by Indy Decorative Concrete. Don't let summer pass you by. There's still time to add the patio of your dreams. Backyard living starts at IndyDecorativeConcrete.com. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Now the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Mostly clear skies remain for tonight. Low temperature of 65 degrees. Tomorrow, a dry start. Isolated showers and storms possible in the afternoon and evening. High temperature of 85 degrees. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Ryan Morse for 93 WIBC.
And I'm Harrison Silcox on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show on 93 WIBC.
Hey, my name is Nigel. Brian Baker's filling in for Jason Hammer. The inflation report this week exceeding all forecasts, 9.1%, highest since 81. We'll go to the drivehubler.com hotline and bring on stock market guru and financial analyst Heather Zumaraga. Heather, how are you?
Hey, I'm good, Nigel. How you doing?
Really good. Okay, we'll get your 30,000-foot take on what you see happening here, what it means for Americans, and maybe drill down just a little bit. Were you surprised at all by that number 9.1%?
No, I was actually not surprised by 9.1%. Unfortunately, I think you could see double digits, 10% by the end of the year. We are at 40-year highs right now, but the reason inflation is so rampant is due to all this spending, the reckless spending policies coming out of Washington. Most specifically was the American Rescue Plan. Last year in March of 2021, if you look at a chart of inflation, I'm sure if you're driving in the car, you won't be pulling up a chart of inflation. But if you did, I'll spare you, and you'll see a line going straight upwards to the right, increasing after that nearly $2 trillion was spent by Congress.
Heather, Brian Baker, in addition to all of the spending and the new dollars that are out there, you also have the Federal Reserve now playing this game where they're trying to find the balance between tamping down on inflation without throwing us into a recession. But I'm curious about how they are playing that game right now, because if you look at where interest rates are, even after these massive hikes relative to the annual rate of inflation, there's an argument to be made that rates are actually lower than they were a year ago. So how do they get a handle on that? And how do they get a handle on inflation at the same time that they're being fought with a rise in energy costs?
Right. Well, the Fed is kind of in this box. I mean, that's a really good point that you brought up, because they have to increase interest rates to tamper some of the inflation. But yet, if we're in a recession or about to enter one, as evident by the second quarter GDP report, and you have sky-high energy prices, it makes it difficult to do so. What was interesting following that CPI release yesterday, traders on Wall Street pricing in an 86% chance that the Fed is going to raise rates at this next meeting this month by 1 percentage point, which is 100 basis points.
Wow.
So that means if you're listening, your auto rates, your credit card rates, your student loan rates, your mortgage rate, all of the interest costs on any debt you may take on are going to go up a lot more.
Financial analyst Tether Zumaraga here on the Hammer and Nigel show. What are some of the excuses Joe Biden is trying to spin this with? Like, you mentioned Brian and I were talking earlier about gas prices. He said, well, look, this number's not accurate because the gas prices are coming down. Any validity to that excuse and or any other excuses he may be making?
No. It's the Putin price hike, right?
Yeah, well, there's that too.
It's not, all right, granted, Putin did exacerbate the situation with the oil and gas situation, especially in Europe. But the U.S. does not depend on Russia for a lot of our oil and gas. So that is not the reason why gas prices have skyrocketed. How about the fact that on day one we shut down the Keystone Pipeline?
Yes.
And since before day one, the administration has said we are 100% anti-fossil fuel. We're going to shut down all drilling and fracking possible in the U.S., and that's part of the Green New Deal, the Green New Agenda. This is part of the plan. Biden also said that inflation has peaked in response to the latest CPI data. He also said that in January when inflation was 7%. So we've far surpassed that. Janet Yellen a year ago was saying it's transitory, it's temporary, or we don't have any inflation, you don't have to worry about it. Americans aren't dumb. They know it's not temporary. No, it's not permanent. But we're not headed in the right direction at this time. It took a long time in the late 70s and early 80s to get a handle on inflation. We actually had to put the economy into recession. Paul Volcker had to drastically raise interest rates, which, Brian, to your point, is what the Federal Reserve is going to have to do, which may send us into a recession.
Yeah, and Heather, to that end, is there a ceiling on how high rates conceivably can go based on the fact that we're now hobbled with this $30 trillion national debt? Because one would assume, because of the fact that the government is always trying to make those annual deficits seem lower by financing our long-term debt with short-term bonds, if rates are going sky high, then the cost of servicing that debt is going to go up. That's going to be a drag on the economy as well. So is there a point where they have to say, okay, we can't go any higher, we just got to ride this thing out?
Well, I think that point is when the voters, the American people, vote them out. But until then, no, unfortunately, there is no ceiling. One thing that is holding us from going into a situation that's much worse called stagflation, where you have very high unemployment as well as rampant inflation, is the jobs data. For right now, the jobs data looks okay. Unemployment is at low levels, but the problem is people are dropping out of the workforce. So when you see the participation rate, which I look at, that's going down. People are giving up looking for work. They're saying they don't want to work. Whatever the reason is, jobless claims jumped to 244,000 last week, which is the highest level since back in November, I think, of 2021. So we're not headed in the right direction. But when you look around the world, I'm trying to show maybe a silver lining or a glimmer of hope. I like to be a glass half full kind of girl. But the U.S. dollar just hit parity with Europe. What does that mean? Well, if you want a cheaper vacation to Europe, now may be the time, except for airfare sky high, and so is hotel and lodging. But the rest of the world is also spending or trying to spend their way out of whatever economic downturn they've endured because of COVID or Putin's price hike or whatever they want to point the finger at. And so those are two things that may be keeping the U.S. out of a depression, but a recession is very likely, unfortunately.
And what's it like so what's this mean? I mean, what does 9.1% inflation mean for average everyday Americans, hardworking Americans that are traveling every day for work, that are filling up their gas tanks with sky-high fuel prices, middle to lower income families? What exactly are they going through because of this type of inflation?
Right. Well, the rich don't care. The rich don't look at their grocery bill, or the wealthy, if they're filling up their Jag or their Bentley at the gas station or whatever fancy car they have. Do you think they care if it's $100 or $200? They don't care. But everyday Americans, the middle class, do care. Inflation is a tax on the middle class. And data just came out from Bank of America showing that for lower income Americans, Credit card debt is actually going down. It's declined by more than 1% over the past year, meaning the lower income Americans are the ones who aren't spending because they can't spend. They live paycheck to paycheck. It's not just at the gas pump. There's an index that measures kind of what you're paying in the kitchen, like a food at home index, eggs, poultry, meat, up 12.2% year over year. Again, the highest since the late 70s. So, I mean, and the administration's response is what? Let's spend more money. In California, look what they're doing. They're sending out relief checks to people. Too much money is how we got in this mess in the first place.
Heather, are you at all concerned about the fundamentals in the housing market? Because we're now seeing reports where the home producers, they are slashing prices. They've cut new construction. At the same time, we've got this major hike coming. I mean, mortgage rates. My gosh, if my wife and I tried to buy our house today, we wouldn't be able to do it. The mortgage rates are more than double what we wound up signing our contract for. And ultimately, we know that housing is a very important part of the foundation for the American economy. It's where a lot of Americans have the majority of their wealth tied up. What do you see coming down the pike in terms of the housing market?
Well, the housing market, as people are really feeling the squeeze of rising mortgage rates, not just the fact that housing prices remain really high everywhere around the country. So now, according to Realtor, last I checked, the median listing price was a record $450,000 in June. And so if you're just trying to meet a 30-year mortgage payment to get a median home, you said you and your wife got real lucky. At the beginning of the year, you probably could have locked in 2.5%. Now we're just shy of 6% on the average 30-year, more than doubled, almost tripled. So maybe the price of a home comes down because mortgage rates are going up, but your monthly cost, unless you're paying all cash, I don't know anyone who could do that, your cost is going to go up, and now you can't afford an average home because mortgage rates have gone up significantly, and now people don't even qualify.
Hey,
will that put the brakes on the rent market as well? Because that's killing people on both ends. They can't afford to buy a new home. They can't afford to rent either.
Right. They can't afford to rent. And so one idea, which is a real idiotic idea I just heard before I hopped on, somebody said, I don't know if it's part of the administration, I hope not, that people should move back in with their parents. Well, I know a lot of parents, including mine, that probably don't want that. And a lot of people that don't want to move back in with their parents. That is not a good solution to the problem. But look, this is all, the Federal Reserve will continue raising rates, which does impact mortgage rates. So the housing market is going to cool off. As a general rule of thumb, when inflation is low, mortgage rates are lower. And when inflation is high, like it is today, mortgage rates are even higher than that. So you've got CPI at 9.1%. I wouldn't be surprised if you get a 30-year mortgage that's higher than that by the end of the year. That may be where we're headed.
Financial analyst, Newsmax contributor Heather Zumaraga here on the Hammer and Nigel show. One more question before we let you go. Just a general question, your thoughts, your predictions. Just break it down in terms of a recession happening. You know, Brian and I were speaking in a previous segment about it kind of feels like a recession's already here. What do you think is around the corner if you could predict?
Well, right. A lot of people feel like we may be already in one. I mean, if you look at the stock market, which I follow on a daily basis, most of the indices, the NASDAQ, for example, dropped 30% from its high, and the S&P 500 and the Dow 20%. They've since recovered some of their losses, but anything over 20 is called bear market. We're in a bear market and bear market territory. So, look, the technical definition for the listeners, if anybody wants to know, of GDP is 2 negative consecutive quarters of GDP. The technical definition, of a recession. So we already had one. We had a contraction in the first quarter of 1.6%. We're going to have another contraction in the second quarter. So that's going to mark that recession definition. But like you said, a lot of people feel like we're already in one. I keep an eye on the jobs data and the 10-year Treasury as a sign of where interest rates are headed. If you have any debt, like credit card debt, if you can pay off the balance, you're paying about 16 to 17% right now. My best advice would be to try and pay that down so you can service your debt costs, like you were referring to the federal debt. Well, just for everyday Americans, try and pay that down if you can, because it might get worse.
There she is, Heather Zumaraga, financial analyst. You can find her work on Newsmax and on social media at Heather Zuma. Heather, great having you on. Have a good weekend, and we'll hook up again soon, okay?
Thanks so much, guys. Have a good day.
It's the Hammer and Nigel Show. We'll be back.
You might be working with someone to manage your wealth, but is the relationship working for you? Join Edelman Financial Engines on Tuesday, July 19th at 3 p.m. or 8 p.m. Eastern for our brand new virtual event, Why Choosing the Right Wealth Planner Matters, presented by best-selling author Gene Chatsky. You can register now at planefe.com. You'll see why all financial planners are not created equal. Gene will show you why having the right partner can have a big impact on your financial future and how to know if your advisor is looking out for your best interests. Don't miss this important virtual event. Join us for Why Choosing the Right Wealth Planner Matters with Gene Chatsky on Tuesday, July 19th at 3 p.m. or 8 p.m. Eastern. There's no cost to attend and no obligation. Register now at planefe.com. That's planefe.com. Edelman Financial Engines. From here forward.
All right, listen up. This is important. If you are feeling the heat inside your house right now, if you're noticing your air conditioner is running more than usual, are your energy bills higher than normal? All reasons you need new windows. Get rid of those drafty, cracked, old windows because Window Nation can help. I have Window Nation windows in my house. My energy bills have actually dropped. You can beat the heat with Window Nation right now. Save $200 off any style new window from Window Nation. Plus, there's no money up front. No money involved until 2024. So you could lower your energy bills. You could raise the value of your home with new energy-efficient windows from Window Nation. Keep the heat out of your house and keep those energy bills low. Call 1-866-90-NATION. That's 866-90-NATION and go to windownation.com.
Now with Xfinity, you'll get unlimited internet with gig speed and supersonic Wi-Fi. With a 2-year internet rate guarantee, no annual contract required, and no equipment fees. Talk about knock your socks off. Ooh, plus a free Flex 4K streaming box. It's like hitting the streaming jackpot. It's all just $50 a month when you add Xfinity Mobile. $50 a month. A price that's truly jaw-dropping.
Oh, literally.
The speed you need at a price you want. Value that's simply bananas. That's the new Xfinity Supersonic Bundle. It's kind of a big deal. Go to Xfinity.com/gig, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store to learn more.
Limited time offer. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. New gigabit internet customers only. Xfinity Mobile requires post-pay Xfinity Internet. After 24 months, regular rates apply to all services and devices.
If you're struggling with weight and frustrated with dieting each and every year, Mark Patrick Seminars can help.
After this hypnosis, I want to eat good food.
Since August, I can honestly say I have not had one potato chip.
It was life-changing for me.
And I don't think about desserts like I used to.
Bridget, how much have you lost now?
I had lost a total of 83 pounds.
Holy cow.
It's easy, it's fun, very relaxing, and very successful.
And I would just say go for it.
For only $49.99, lose all the weight you want, 100% guaranteed. Also, stop smoking with Mark Patrick Seminars. That's right, seminars Thursday, July 28th at the Hampton Inn and Suites in Fishers. Weight loss seminar 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. Stop smoking seminar 8 to 10 p.m. And Saturday, July 30th at the La Quinta Inn and Suites South in Indianapolis. Weight loss seminar 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Stop smoking seminar 2 to 4 p.m. That's Thursday, July 28th at the Hampton Inn and Suites in Fishers and Saturday, July 30th at the La Quinta Inn and Suites South in Indianapolis. Registration begins 30 minutes before seminar.
There's never been a better time to look at a cash-out refinance. Apply online today at thehomeloanexpert.com. NMLS number 1326241.
Matt Bear is in the WIBC Traffic Center.
Eastbound 465 stop and go Keystone past Allisonville Road. And the westbound lane's also tight from 69 over to Allisonville Road. East side southbound 465 stops before 70 to Washington. And inbound 65 jams 21st Street to the north split. Traffic sponsored by Indy Decorative Concrete. Don't let summer pass you by. There's still time to add the patio of your dreams. Backyard living starts at IndyDecorativeConcrete.com. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
85 at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center, 93 WIBC.
You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show on 93 WIBC.
Do not, Mondo, our producer, do not let me forget to give away tickets to Chicago and Brian Wilson.
I will not let you forget.
We'll do that at the end
tickets?
of this segment. Yeah,
I'm calling in under an assumed name.
They'll be here next Wednesday, July 20th at the Ruoff Music Center. But don't let me end this segment without giving those away. Brian Baker's filling in for Hammer. I think the word in America, the word oppression is used a little too loosely. If you get my drift. I mean, even from the WNBA player Brittany Griner. Is that her name, Brittany? Did I say that?
Yeah,
Brittany
you got it
Griner?
right.
She's been trapped in a Russian jail since February. You have human rights abuses in Saudi Arabia and China. In Iran, they throw gay people off rooftops. And here's just another example of some of the craziness around the world, Brian. A 20-year-old woman was found guilty of adultery and has been sentenced to death by stoning in Sudan. Stoning. Several humanitarian groups are saying it's barbaric. So when people talk about how awful a place America is and how we need to defund the police and how we are being oppressed and certain people, it's just it's such a joke compared to what other people are suffering and going through around the world.
Well, yeah, and I mean, a stoning, this is Sudan, I think it's North Africa, but this happens in the Middle East on a regular basis still to this day. I mean, so, yeah, in terms of oppression, we've got it pretty darn good here. I'd take our level of oppression over what people are dealing with in some of these third world countries any day, man.
I mean, Christians in the Congo, another perfect example of that, just how it's like, I mean, man, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, and meantime, there was a story this week about some kid that worked at Universal Music Group, and when Roe v. Wade was overturned, he was so traumatized by this that he was unable to work and then had to take the rest of the afternoon off and ultimately was fired. Now he feels
I
like
was going to say,
oppressed.
Didn't he get fired? And that's the thing. And that's the thing with Netflix, too, that we were talking earlier about, the people walked out of Netflix. And finally, Netflix, because of the Dave Chappelle special and some of the other stuff some of those other woke programs that they ended up canceling, people were walking out, and Netflix basically put out a memo that said, bye.
Yeah. Good. Do your crying on your own time. You're here to actually contribute to our bottom line and help us make a profit. And if you're not going to do that, then you have no value to me as an employer.
Been to any shows lately, concerts at all?
Well, you were playing Chicago. That's one of my all-time favorite groups, man. I would love to go to Chicago, but unfortunately, I'm not that good with voices. I don't think I can get away with calling into the hotline or the request line and trying to score these tickets for myself.
All right. So, but you have it, you and the wife, you don't, because I went to Tedeschi Trucks Band with my wife a couple of weeks ago. We've been to a country music concert earlier this year, Eric Church, but are you a regular concert attender at all?
You know what? I'm not. And part of the problem is that all the groups I like aren't touring anymore. I'd love to see Phil Collins, but Phil ain't even doing it anymore. I don't even think he just sings from a chair.
There it is. All right, caller 9 right now, 239-9393 gets 2 tickets to see Chicago and Brian Wilson next Wednesday, July 20th at Ruoff Music Center. 9th caller gets him, 239-9393. We'll be right back. It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Staring blindly into space, getting up to splash my face, wanting just to stay away.
Take care of your property with equipment you can count on, like the Kubota BX and LO1 Series compact tractors, part of our under 100 horsepower tractor lineup, rated #1 for reliability, and Z-Series mowers and Sidekick utility vehicles, where durability meets speed. Visit your local Kubota dealer for a demo today. Go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
Stop by McAllister Machinery in Fishers and Indianapolis to see their full line of Kubota, or visit them online at McAllisterKubota.com.
I'm going to tell you something. There's only one real estate agent I'd use to sell my house, and that's Mark Dietl. And here's proof of why I'd use Mark Dietl. How about Tim in Indianapolis? His story. It's a sad one. His mom passed away, and they needed to sell her house. So he heard about Mark Dietl on our show and hired Mark, had it sold in days at $16,000 over list price.
There's only one agent that we recommend, that we trust here on the Hammer and Nigel show, and it's Mark Dietl. Because Mark Dietl has the guarantee in place. Mark Dietl guarantees multiple offers in 3 days at full market value, or he will list it for free. Think about that. Contact Mark Dietl today. Pick up the phone, 317-755-4232. That's 755-4232. Or go online to markdietl.com. That's Mark, D-I-E-T-E-L, markdietl.com. Tell him Hammer and Nigel sent you.
Hubler has all the top brands: Chevy, Buick, GMC, Ford, Acura, Honda, Mazda, Nissan, and more. And every new vehicle includes a 10-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Looking to sell your vehicle? We'll pay you top dollar, even if you don't buy ours. Take it from Brooke Hubler.
You can get a car anywhere, but you can only get a warranty like this at Hubler. 10 years, 200,000 miles.
Visit drivehubler.com.
Hubler has it all.
Warranty available on new vehicles except certain models, not transferable or available on leases. Copy of the warranty is available for review at the dealership.
I'm Tom Shane. Growing up in a family of jewelers, I remember looking at gemstones alongside my father. I learned to appreciate their unique beauty and developed an eye for evaluating diamonds, rubies, and sapphires. To this day, I'm still examining gemstones. Throughout the year, I traveled to Bangkok, the gemstone capital of the world, to hand-select only the most beautiful rubies and 16 colors of sapphires for Shane Company. When I'm there, I never select stones on a cloudy day. Only with natural sunlight can I accurately evaluate the color and the stone's brilliance. I also oversee the cutting of each stone to maximize its inherent beauty. That's why our gemstones are more beautiful and vibrant than any other jewelers in town. Come in to find one that's perfect for you. Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and ShaneCo.com.
Think back. Think back to when back or neck pain didn't rule your life. Now, think about standing up to back pain today. Because you can. With highly skilled care from IU Health, Indiana's only nationally ranked healthcare system. Our spine experts use an integrated approach to care and the latest surgical and non-surgical methods, so you can move away from back pain and on with life. Schedule a safe in-office appointment or visit us virtually at iuhealth.org/spine program.
Trust 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning to help keep your AC running strong. Call 855-1HOUR or visit onehourair.com.
Always on time or you don't pay a dime.
Independently owned and operated, licensed in their respective state or county.
Hi, I'm Joe Clark, host of Consider This, found right here Saturday mornings at 6 a.m. Grab a cup of coffee and join me as we talk about things you should consider affecting your financial future.
Coming up in 2 minutes, the family who wants answers from police at Zionsville having trouble paying some bills. All that and more after Fox News Radio from the Shepherd Community Center studios. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 4 o'clock.
This is a Fox News alert. I'm Marie Corsetti. Ivana Trump, the first wife of Donald Trump, has died. The former president announced it on social media Thursday, saying, quote, "I'm very saddened to inform all of those that loved her, of which there are many, that Ivana Trump has passed away at her home in New York City." Plus, President Biden in Jerusalem today with the Israeli Prime Minister. Biden says America is committed to ensuring Iran doesn't obtain a nuclear weapon.
I continue to believe that diplomacy is the best way to achieve this outcome.
The president says his administration has outlined what they're willing to accept in a new nuclear deal with Iran and is awaiting response. Meanwhile, the Democrat-controlled House is working to pass a couple of abortion rights bills this week, but their efforts may be facing some backlash.
Democrats are all in on abortion rights, and they're really playing up these what-if scenarios. Republicans and even some reporters here covering the Hill are questioning a bill sponsored by Senators Murray, Gillibrand, and Cortez Masto that would stop states from interfering with a woman's right to cross state lines to get an abortion. But they're questioning why they're pushing this when no states have moved yet to do so. Democrats do acknowledge they don't have enough votes to codify Roe v. Wade, and Speaker Nancy Pelosi said that she wasn't even willing to negotiate on a new bill that might be able to get through the Senate.
Fox's Aisha Hasni. Meanwhile, Ukrainian officials say Russian missiles that struck a city in central Ukraine killed at least 23 people and injured more than 100 others, including children. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi speaks on the ongoing conflict.
If that war could come to some closure, it would be a great thing for the people of Ukraine.
This is the 5th month of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Plus, a federal grand jury has indicted the White Buffalo supermarket shooter on counts including federal hate crime charges punishable by the death penalty. Peyton Gendron has pleaded not guilty to state and federal charges. The supermarket where 10 black people were killed is set to reopen its doors to the public Friday. America is listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
A difficult few days. All clear on the radar, 85 and cloudy downtown. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 4:02. It's been an emotional week for the Mormon family after Kyle Mormon and his 3 children were found dead at a lake on Indy's southwest side Tuesday night. The family says IMPD took too long to fully search the area where Mormon's phone last pinged. IMPD Chief Randall Taylor in a follow-up news conference.
Just that we're sorry for what happened there. Our prayers are obviously with that family.
A glitch in the system Zionsville uses to keep their money in order is preventing them from paying their bills. At the moment, town leaders can't see how much cash the town has, owes, or what bills need to be paid. Town Council President Jason Plunkett.
I did ask that we keep it on the agenda so that we could yet again just publicly state our concern with Up and Gov. The platform will not allow the finance team at this point even to get basic data to run our claims in time.
The council was scheduled to meet next Monday. That meeting, though, has been canceled. A case of road rage in Lebanon. A man from Bloomington has been charged with shooting a gun into a truck on I-65. The Lebanon Police Department says Craig Jones was riding with someone in a Chevy Malibu when he took out a gun and shot another Chevy pickup truck. Nobody inside was hurt. Police haven't said what led to the shooting. They're just calling it a road rage incident. Burn pits, atomic testing, and contaminated water on bases all put veterans in danger while they were serving. Now the government may be assuming the cost of treating the illnesses.
It is not enough to simply say thank you for your service to our veterans. It is through our actions that provide proof we have our veterans back and value their service.
Indiana Representative Frank Mervan speaking in favor of the Honoring Our Pact Act, which passed the House Wednesday and the Senate in June. Former President Donald Trump's first wife, Ivana, has died at the age of 73. The former president announced her death on social media Thursday. You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 4:04.
There's a reason Comcast Business powers more businesses than any other provider. Actually, there's a few. Comcast Business offers the fastest, reliable network, the peace of mind that comes with Security Edge, helping to protect all your connected devices, and the most reliable 5G mobile network. Want me to keep going? I can. Whether your small business is starting or growing, you need Comcast Business. Technology solutions that put you ahead and give you serious savings. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Get internet and security for just $60 a month when you add mobile and save $480 your first year. Plus, ask how to get a $500 prepaid card with a qualifying gig bundle. Limited time offer, restrictions apply. Requires EcoBill and autopay. New Comcast Business 250 megabits per second internet and Security Edge customers only. 2-year agreement required. Equipment installation, taxes, and other fees extra and subject to change. Must add mobile within 90 days of internet install and keep all services for 12 months to receive discount. Comcast Business Mobile utilizes the network with the most RootMetrics 5G data reliability wins in 2H 2021. Results may vary. Award is not an endorsement.
With traffic on the 5s, here's Matt Baer.
All right, Harrison, we're looking at southbound 465 east side. Stop and go traffic before 70 down to the 74. South side eastbound 465 dragging in spots from Man Road over to Emerson Avenue. Those westbound lanes on the south side also slow From I-65 over to Harding Street and on the northwest side, northbound 465 starting to slow down. 86th Street up to 865. Traffic sponsored by DoMyOwnPestControl.com. You need a lawn care pro and a pest control pro. You can have both in one guy, you. DoMyOwn.com will help you get there with pro products, pro knowledge, and pro support. DoMyOwn.com for the pro and you. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
The forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Mostly clear skies remain for tonight. Low temperature of 65 degrees. Tomorrow, a dry start. Isolated showers and storms possible in the afternoon and evening. High temperature of 85 degrees. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Ryan Morse for 93 WIBC.
I'm Harrison Silcox on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Can you believe these characters are weirdos?
On 93 WIBC.
So let's rock it!
My name is Nigel. Brian Baker is filling in for Jason Hammer. We should all breathe a deep sigh of relief. Joe Biden is headed to Saudi Arabia this week as part of his first Middle East trip as commander-in-chief. He's going to heal the Middle East. He's going to bring peace to the Middle East when pretty much there has been for a while. Donald Trump sort of took care of a lot of that, but a lot of goals for the president in the Middle East: energy security, bringing the Saudis and Israel closer together, and finding a truce in Yemen, for example. And don't forget begging for more oil, Brian.
Yeah, and Nigel, I don't want to rain on your parade or anything, but it turns out the president does in fact have a return ticket home. So there's not that much to get excited about.
It should be awkward. I mean, the meeting should be a tad odd because, if you remember Biden's campaign in 2019, he vowed to treat the Saudi kingdom as, quote, the pariah that they are.
Uh-huh.
And even as president, he's criticized their human rights abuses. So it should be an interesting interaction.
He's just a befuddled old fool, though. And why aren't people more angry about this, Nigel? I mean, man, first of all, for the Democrat Party, pick a narrative, all right? Do you want us to have plenty of oil? Do you want our economy to be secure? And do you want American jobs? Or do you want to be beholden to an adversary that would like nothing more than to see us obliterated off the face of the planet? This is an embarrassment, and it demonstrates such weakness, not only on the behalf of our leader, Nige, but it screams that we are weak as a nation because of the fact that we're so vulnerable on the energy side.
And when you say that, it makes my blood boil because we weren't that way with the previous administration. We were wholly energy independent. We were one of the world's biggest exporters of energy. And now with the stroke of a pen, the executive orders of Joe Biden, as soon as he took office, crushed the oil industry, crushed the pipelines, crushed fracking, and we all knew he was going to do it. The voters voted for what's happening right now. Biden voters, you did this because he ran on a platform of getting rid of fossil fuels. He said those words out loud.
Yeah, and the more infuriating thing on top of that, Nigel, is the fact that we have leaders who never learn the lessons of history. Because what we are experiencing now, if you buy the Biden narrative, which is that, we've got this war in Ukraine and it's disrupted oil supplies. And listen, man, that's the kind of stuff that led to the oil crisis in the 1970s. There was a disruption to supply due to the wars going on in the Middle East. So wouldn't you think you'd take a look at how devastating that was and the impact on our economy and how vulnerable we were and say, never again? But that's not what our leaders in Washington do. They say, hell, let's sign up for some more of that.
But before he heads to the Saudis with his hat in his hand to beg for more oil, he made a little pit stop in Israel, and Biden, being Biden, made an embarrassing gaffe when talking about the Holocaust. Listen to this.
I will once more return to the hollow ground of Yad Vashem to honor 6 million Jewish lives were stolen in the genocide, and continue, which we must do every day, continue to bear witness. To keep alive the truth and honor of the Holocaust, horror of the Holocaust. Honor those we lost.
You play that last part again. I know he's stumbling over his words there.
And continue, which we must do every day, continue to bear witness. To keep alive the truth and honor of the Holocaust, horror of the Holocaust.
Oh, boy.
Honor those we lost.
Repeat the line. End of quote. Jeez.
Such an embarrassing gaffe there. I think we lost Brian. I'm not sure. It sounds like we lost. We'll have to get back up and running there. Joe Biden also had this to say about America's involvement in Ukraine.
How long is this going to last? How long is this onslaught going to last?
As long as it's going to take. When we're there till it takes whatever time it takes. We cannot let him prevail.
It can take months. It can take years.
It could.
Mm-hmm. You think the war could take years to 10?
No, you said that.
Yeah,
you said
okay.
It could, okay?
It could.
No, it could.
It sounds like a Naked Gun scene. No, you said that. But no, but I said that, but you said that. So wait, you said it could take years? No, you said that. No. But I'm saying that? Did you say that? All in all, it's extremely disturbing to me that that he's saying it'll be years and years for American taxpayers before we pull out of Ukraine. Now, we're not in Ukraine. There's no military boots on the ground in Ukraine, but I think the plan is to try to help Ukraine bleed the Russians dry, much like in Afghanistan. And it's pretty scary, especially because there are a lot of people right now that are saying, like, what are we doing? What is the national security interest in this? Why are my tax dollars? We're sending billions of dollars to Ukraine, and the
billions and
billions of dollars, Brian. And the big question remains: is this all part of what national security looks like? Why do I have to worry about this?
Yeah, what national security? By the way, did I miss anything? I dropped off there for a moment. I made some wisecrack, and then it was silence, and I thought, oh, I've really offended everyone. And then I realized, no, you just weren't there. Sending our leaders overseas. I mean, this entire thing is embarrassing, Nige. And the truth is, man, that Biden is certainly responsible for the situation we're in right now in terms of domestic energy policy. But, these are not the only areas of vulnerability that we've got here in this nation. Take a look at who is making our pharmaceuticals. You want to talk about vulnerable. If China got mad at us and decided they were just going to shut that off, think about all the folks that depend on medicines to stay alive that would be in a major crisis mode. We're vulnerable in a lot of areas, man.
Well, and one of those areas is inflation. 9.1%, highest since 81. Those numbers just dropped this week. What did you think when you first saw that number? You're a guy that's worked in syndicated radio with financial networks and things like that, so you know a little bit about this. I mean, 9.1% from a year ago is crazy.
Yeah, and it scares me, Nigel, because you realize that things have kind of gotten out of hand and that there's only so much that policymakers and the monetary policy makers at the Federal Reserve can do to counter the problems that we're experiencing right now. Things are really challenging right now just with what we're facing, but take a look at what's happening with manufacturing and the producer price index, and you realize that we're not done yet with prices continuing to climb. So, this is, I hope that people were wise enough to kind of see what was happening and prepare, but, who knows how long this is going to last? We don't have any control over some of the stuff that's happening overseas. We don't know when that's going to come to its conclusion. So, yeah, man, I mean, I take that back, Nige. We know when the pain will stop in 2024. When they throw him out of office.
Let's hope. Big news I heard at the top of the hour that Ivana Trump, the ex-wife of former President Trump, died at the age of 73. That's, her three kids were Don Jr., Ivanka, and Eric Trump. I'm trying to look for a cause of death here. I think it was cardiac arrest.
Yeah, I didn't see that, but 73 isn't that old.
No.
For all of the fights that they had, I mean, I think they were comparable to Bert and Lonnie when it came to their divorce. But apparently they reconciled and were friends and very supportive, in later years.
A burglar was trapped inside of a Little Caesars stove exhaust vent in your home state right now of Georgia when he tried to into the restaurant from the roof. I don't know why in the world are you breaking into a Little Caesars? You think you're going to get this treasure trove of hundreds of thousands of dollars in a safe or something? Or was he just looking for a hot and ready? I don't know. Here's a witness and with the fire captain talking about finding and rescuing the burglar.
He said that he can hear the person from inside of his vent. So I then walked inside of the Little Caesars workplace and I called the cops.
And I'm glad that our guys, in particular our heavy rescue unit, carries a lot of different tools and we're able to use a lot of them today to get him out safely.
I'm just glad they didn't turn the oven on because he would have been toast.
Toast.
That's my favorite part. Good thing they didn't turn the oven on. He'd be fried to a crisp. Matt Bear, what's up with traffic?
Eastbound 465, stop and go. Keystone over to I-69. And then southbound 465 on the east side. Stop and go before 70 down to 74. Inbound 65 to downtown. Stop to 21st Street to the split. And eastbound 70 into downtown. Stop and go from Harding Street to Meridian, Illinois. Traffic sponsored by Staples Store. Staples has everything you need for school at prices that won't hold you back. Don't send your kids back to school. Send them forward at Staples, the working and learning store. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Another day, another airplane having to be evacuated because it caught fire. We'll cover that and Is This Anything coming up next. It's 85 at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center, 93 WIBC.
Hey, how much money have you lost in the stock market? Here's a way to stop the bleeding and potentially make up for some of those devastating losses. Learn how you could get a consistent and competitive return on your money right now and receive a 5, 10, 14, or even a 35% initial bonus on your investment. That's right. And sleep well knowing that your money is protected by some of the top-rated insurance companies in the world. To learn more, call Bill Demery, my retirement guy, at 317-349-5212. Get a competitive return on your investment right now and receive a 5, 10, 14, or even a 35% initial bonus on your investment. To learn more, call 317-349-5212. That's 317-349-5212.
I'm going to tell you something. There's only one real estate agent I'd use to sell my house, and that's Mark Dietl. And here's proof of why I'd use Mark Dietl. How about Tim in Indianapolis? His story. It's a sad one. His mom passed away, and they needed to sell her house. So he heard about Mark Dietl on our show and hired Mark, had it sold in days at $16,000 over list price.
There's only one agent that we recommend, that we trust here on the Hammer and Nigel show, and it's Mark Dietl. Because Mark Dietl has the guarantee in place. Mark Dietl guarantees multiple offers in 3 days at full market value, or he will list it for free. Think about that. Contact Mark Dietl today. Pick up the phone, 317-755-4232. That's 755-4232. Or go online to markdietl.com. That's Mark, D-I-E-T-E-L, markdietl.com. Tell him Hammer and Nigel sent you.
Ever get those midday cravings, but you can't decide what to snack on? With over 6,000 fresh, healthy, irresistible snacks, Nuts.com has you covered. A family-run business since 1929, Nuts.com has provided the freshest, highest quality snacks and foods for almost 100 years. Don't be fooled by the name. We offer a wide variety of the most delicious dried fruits, sweets, trail mixes, and more. All our snacks are carefully sourced to ensure we're offering the freshest ingredients on the market. We get cream-of-the-crop top picks from America's best farmers, colossal-sized nuts and fruit bursting with full flavor and ample nutrients. Our nuts are roasted daily, and we ship fast for ultimate freshness you can't get anywhere else. Right now, first-time customers can get free shipping on their orders. That's free shipping on your first order by visiting Nuts.com today. Don't wait to satisfy those cravings. Go to Nuts.com for the freshest, tastiest snacks you and your family will love.
Man, I slept.
New ZzzQuil Pure Z's Restorative Herbal Sleep is made for people who are tired of being tired.
I've never slept like this before. I've never woken up like this before.
A melatonin-free sleep aid made with a botanical blend that contains clinically studied and effective valerian root, hops, and passion flower, shown to help promote better restorative sleep. ZzzQuil Pure Z's Restorative Herbal Sleep. Sleep this good. Feel this good. Available at retailers near you.
Dell's Black Friday and July sale is here. Power productivity with a tech refresh. Now with up to 45% off top-rated laptops like the XPS, along with our special deals on business desktops with Intel Core processors. Get big savings on the latest servers, storage, monitors, and more with free shipping and special financing with Dell Business Credit. Upgrade today by calling 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Furniture Installers of Indiana can handle your office furniture needs no matter how large or how small. They've been doing it for over 30 years. Bring professional furniture solutions to your home or commercial office space. Learn more at FurnitureInstallers.us.
When the weather turns severe, turn to the WIBC Storm Desk, presented by Technology Recyclers. Business electronics recycling. Visit tech-recyclers.com.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by thehomeloanexpert.com.
Hammer and Nigel presents
It depends upon what the meaning of the word is.
Is this anything?
On 93 WIBC.
My name is Nigel. Brian Baker's filling in for Jason Hammer. You know how Is This Anything works, right?
Yeah, favorite segment.
All right, here we go. Passengers had to be rushed off a United Airlines flight at Denver International after the reports of smoke and fire. Yikes. Firefighters were able to quickly put out that small fire, but here's the moment the passengers were told to get off the plane!
Leave your bags! Come this way! Come this way! Come this way!
Forget the bags!
Leave your bags! Leave your bags!
Is this anything, Brian?
Yeah, I'd say that's something. And yes, please do. If your life is in imminent danger and there's a fire coming up into your section, leave the bag behind. Because I've been behind these folks that they come onto the airplane with one of those bags that's way too big for the overhead compartment. And then they stand there for 5 minutes trying to jam it in. The line's backing up. And what happens? It's always the person that doesn't really know what they're doing that puts their bag above my head. And then when it's time to leave, they'll pull it out and conk me out. I think all my neck issues are due to that kind of crap happening on airplanes. And you know what? I'm not going to even listen. I won't argue that there are probably some advantages to being taken out and not having to endure and see what's coming next in the Biden presidency. I'm not going to tell you I haven't been tempted at times to stop wearing my seatbelt, but I don't think I want to go out via fire on an aircraft, Nige.
No, that'd be awful. At least it was on the ground. And here, this is, by the way, that kind of reaction from the flight attendants, that's what I want to hear when there's a fire on the airplane. Something similar happened on Spirit Airlines earlier in the week. I think this was in Atlanta. There was a fire, and things couldn't have been more calm.
Ladies and gentlemen, stay seated. Stay seated. We do not have to evacuate now. Please remain seated.
It was the flight attendant saying, remain calm, but I also heard in my headphones a loud thumping noise. They told us to remain calm, just stay seated until they get everything under control, but it's on fire. Like, how you going to remain calm?
Yeah, I'm with that guy right there. Can you play the previous audio? Can you play the original audio of the United flight?
Leave your bags. Come this way. Come this way. Come this way. Come this way.
Yeah, okay, so there are definitely differences in the reactions of airline attendants with the fires on the two different planes. I want the airline attendant to get off the plane. Don't forget about your bags. But the Spirit Airlines thing in Denver's all right, everybody remain calm. There's a fire on the plane.
Well, maybe the reason for calmness, perhaps it's a routine affair on that airline. Maybe it happens all the time. They're used to it. Don't worry, folks. A little fire happens all the time.
Think about this. For the second time in a week, a U.S. plane had a smoke and fire issue. Now, luckily, in both cases, everybody's okay. And Hammer and Nigel Records actually has a brand new tribute, Brian. We were in a Steve Miller Band kind of mood when we were in the studio here, and this new tribute is called Battle Smoke-Filled Liner.
Gas prices up in the air from inflation and more.
Flight attendant saying, remain calm.
Climbing aboard and then smelling the smoke. Maybe I should have just stayed home. Oh, bad old smoke-filled liner.
Leave your bags. Leave your bags.
Don't go catching fire today.
Come this way.
Oh, bad old smoke-filled liner. 'Cause 'cause I can't afford to drive all the way.
They told us to remain calm, but it's on fire. Like, how you going to remain calm?
There you go. Battle Smoke-Filled Liner, the latest work from Hammer and Nigel Records.
A beauty.
I got another one here for you. A nuclear power plant in New Hampshire freaked a bunch of beachgoers out when sirens started going off, and then there was an announcement saying there was a problem at the plant that followed. Apparently, it was all sent by mistake. The plant was testing out the new alert system. I got a sound of the alert that was sent out, followed by a couple of people that were on the beach breaking down what happened.
Attention, there is a problem at Seabrook Nuclear Power Station.
I heard someone over a speaker say that there's a problem at the power plant and to stay away from the beach, and I thought it was scary.
People started coming out of their cottages. They couldn't believe, what we just heard.
We're seeing people run off the beach. We're pretty scared at that point.
Oh, man, I think this is something. What about you?
Yeah, and listen, I mean, how nice to have a public beach near a nuclear power plant. That's got to be advantageous. You get a tan even on a cloudy day.
Remember when a couple of years ago the nuclear alert system went off in Hawaii, and said a bunch of nuclear missiles from North Korea were headed there? Everybody take shelter. Could you imagine? Could you imagine looking on your phone and getting that alert? I mean, honestly, how does it happen that easily? I'm assuming there's not just one button somewhere that says, nuclear alert, press here. There's got to be a process.
Yeah, well, listen, man, I've seen the beginning of Superman 3 where Richard Pryor is just trying to do some basic stuff, and he has to do one thing with his foot and one with his arm. I would assume that there's it would be a two-man job to be pushing that button. On the other hand, I guess if it's a legitimate alert, you'll want to make the process of making people aware as easy as possible.
Hey, Brian, when you were in the food service industry back in the day, you were trying to make a living, did you ever get a $4,000 tip?
No, but I never got stiffed, so I was proud of that.
Do you remember the biggest tip you ever received? Does that anything stick out in your memory like that? And I'm going somewhere with this, so
I don't remember the biggest tip that I ever got, but I do remember getting the worst tip ever, and the guy thought he was actually being generous to me by giving me an extra quarter for making his wife an excellent margarita. The wife, he came and he says, my wife says, because she'd given me a quarter already. He says, my wife says that's the best margarita she's ever had, so here's an extra quarter for you. Oh, great! That was I think 2005. 50 cents didn't go a long way even back then, Nige.
A Texas bartender was left a $4,000 tip from two good Samaritans she'd never met before. Here is a single mom, Chelsea, talking about how it happened and how grateful she is.
I live paycheck to paycheck. I don't have extra money right now. Two random girls came into the bar, never seen them before. She ordered the whole house around, started off with a $1,000 tip, so I started crying. She's like, no, that's not good enough. So she raised it to $1,500. She looks at her friend and says, no, that's not good enough. Raised it to $2,000. And she left me a $4,000 tip. She's a gift from God.
Was this anything?
Yeah, and of course the rest of the story is she stole her ex-boyfriend's credit card. But that's extremely cool. I'm glad to hear that. Of course, I'm sure the bartender probably had to tip out at the end of the night, so I wonder how much she actually got to take home.
We'll be right back. It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Your home is your sanctuary. Get the peace of mind you deserve with a free estimate on a Generac automatic standby generator for your home from Generator Supercenter, the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer. With expert installation and 24-hour monitoring, Generator Supercenter won't leave you in the dark. Financing is available. Take control of your power today with Generator Supercenter. Call 317-827-0808. Generator Supercenter of Indianapolis, 317-827-0808.
Hubler has all the top brands: Chevy, Buick, GMC, Ford, Acura, Honda, Mazda, Nissan, and more. And every new vehicle includes a 10-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Looking to sell your vehicle? We'll pay you top dollar, even if you don't buy ours. Take it from Brooke Hubler.
You can get a car anywhere, but you can only get a warranty like this at Hubler. 10 years, 200,000 miles.
Visit drivehubler.com.
Hubler has
Warranty available on new vehicles except certain models, not transferable or available on leases. A copy of the warranty is available for review at the dealership.
Guy Relford for Independent Safe Company. Ben Franklin said that an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. That could not possibly be more true when it comes to protecting your valuables, whether it's your firearms, your jewelry, your family heirlooms, or your important legal documents. And that's where my friends at Independent Safe Company, located in Noblesville on State Road 37, that's where they come in. They can provide you with a quality American-made safe, whether a Liberty safe or a Browning safe, that's perfectly designed to protect your valuables. They don't go through a middleman. They order and receive their safes directly from the manufacturer like Liberty or Browning. In addition, their manufacturers are American companies, meaning you're not shipping safes overseas before they can be delivered and installed in your home. So check out my friends at Independence Liberty Safe, located in Noblesville. They're at 317-214-1437. That's 317-214-1437. Or contact them online at independencelibertysafe.com, located in Noblesville.
Masters Heating and Cooling is helping you in 2022 with $750 in Masters bucks toward a complete Carrier system installed. Turn to the experts, plus receive perks like a free humidifier, 10-year parts and 3-year labor warranty, Masters Apple to Apple's price match guarantee, and 0% financing for 72 months to qualified buyers. Visit mastersheatcool.com today.
We are Masters.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
A case of road rage got him arrested. 85 and partly cloudy. Lows tonight in the mid-60s. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 4:31. A man from Bloomington has been charged with shooting a gun into a truck on I-65. The Lebanon Police Department says Craig Jones was riding with someone in a Chevy Malibu when he took out a gun and shot at another pickup truck. Nobody inside was hurt. Police haven't said what led to the shooting. They're calling it a road rage incident. The Democrat-controlled House is working to pass a couple abortion rights bills this week. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says one of those bills will focus on protecting women traveling out of state for an abortion.
Another bill we'll have tomorrow is Ensuring Women's Right to Reproductive Freedom Act. It's stopping Republicans from criminalizing women who exercise their constitutional right to travel across state lines to terminate a pregnancy.
It's likely those bills won't make it through the Senate. Indiana lawmakers will discuss changes to the state's abortion laws when they meet for a special session on July 25th. Inflation is at a 40-year high, and you're paying more for everything, but Republican Senator Mike Braun says he sees some bright spots.
I was glad to see Netflix subscriptions actually drop 4 or 5 months ago. That means we're weaning ourselves back into whatever normal is.
He tells Fox News it'll take a while for prices to go down, but the strong pre-COVID economy could mean we get out easier than we did 40 years ago. An Olympic gold medal-winning gymnast was mistaken for a child. A flight attendant thought Simone Biles, who's under 5 feet tall, was a child on a plane and offered her a coloring book on a recent flight. The 25-year-old Olympic champion shared the moment on Instagram. She wound up swapping that coloring book for a mimosa. A pretty good deal. Now the stock report. The Dow fell 142 points, closing at 30,630. A small gain of 3 points for the NASDAQ, now at 11,251. The S&P 500 down 11 points, closing at 7,790. You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 4:33.
Joint pain is a pain, but you don't have to suffer from it. Whether it's arthritis or an injury, you know the traditional treatments you go through, pain meds and steroids and then surgery, right? It's Tony Katz here. There is great news. A better way right here in Indianapolis from the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative medicine, and they have offices in Eagle Creek and Greenwood. QC Kinetics is an advanced natural alternative that can give you lasting relief using your body's own healing power. Listen, steroid shots are toxic to your joints. Pain meds are addictive and nobody wants to go under the knife. It's 2022 and those old ways are out. The new ways are here in Indy. Regenerative medicine can restore and repair damaged joint tissue using natural biologics. No drugs, no downtime, no surgery. QC Kinetics regenerative protocols can address any pain in any joint and give you quality of life you deserve. Call now. Schedule your free consultation. QC Kinetics, 463-235-7160 in Eagle Creek and Greenwood. That's 463-235-7160.
Matt Bear, how are the roads?
Southbound 65 stop 21st Street to the north split. East side southbound 465 jams before 70, and then we were slow all the way down to Arlington Avenue. On the south side, eastbound 465 pockets of slow. Man Road over to Emerson Avenue and into downtown. Eastbound 70 tightens up at Harding Street to Meridian, Illinois. Traffic sponsored by Indy Decorative Concrete. Don't let summer pass you by. There's still time to add the patio of your dreams. Backyard living starts at IndyDecorativeConcrete.com. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Now the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Mostly clear skies remain for tonight. Low temperature of 65 degrees. Tomorrow, a dry start. Isolated showers and storms possible in the afternoon and evening. High temperature of 85 degrees. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Ryan Morse for 93 WIBC.
And I'm Harrison Silcox on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
And away we go! The Hammer and Nigel Show. 93 WIBC.
I asked the guy, why you so fly? He said, funky Cole Medina.
My name is Nigel. Brian Baker filling in for Jason Hammer. Did you see Indiana Attorney General Todd Rokita on Jesse Waters last night?
No, but the man makes the rounds. That's exciting.
Man, last night it had to do with that 10-year-old from Ohio to Indy, and he went on with Jesse Waters, and Waters has been covering that story. And Rokita was, I mean, people either love that guy or they hate him with a passion, and he was flexing last night, man. So there's been, I mean, like lots of questions remaining after the Indy Star first reported the awful story about the pregnant 10-year-old that was raped, traveling from Ohio to Indy for an abortion, supposedly because of their strict laws. The doctor that performed the procedure leaked it to the Star. They put it out there with no corroboration from law enforcement. It went viral. Biden mentioned it in a speech. It was all over the place. But it really... no mention of the status of the attacker, the rapist, any police reports or paper trails, if any arrests were made. So I think rightly so. In the beginning, media outlets, including the Washington Post and Snopes and PJ Media, were asking questions about the validity of the story until this monster was finally arrested yesterday. And I was on the record as saying I was hoping it wasn't true, not because I wanted to dunk on the Indy Star or I wanted anybody to be right or wrong. It was because I didn't want it to be true that a young girl was brutalized. I have an 8-year-old girl, so I trust me. In the end, and I said it yesterday, Indy Star was correct in their reporting. And God, I got heat. I got heat for saying, you know what? I got heat for having guests on that questioned the initial report. I got heat for saying that the Star ended up being correct. I'm not saying they were right in their procedures, Brian. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the thing, Nigel. Is listen. We work for a media outlet as well. You know, mistakes sometimes get made, and I's don't get dotted, T's don't get crossed. But I think that was not the best reporting when it initially came out, and they were clearly playing the emotional angle of it. So yeah, man. I mean, it's right to question those things.
Yeah, and look, I didn't make any mistakes. I didn't do the investigating, and I'm certainly not backing down for having guests on that question a huge story involving this state and the President of the United States. I'm not going to back down to that, but in the end, yesterday I went out, I said, yeah, the Star ended up being correct, and now the focus should obviously be on the victim and her family and getting justice for this subhuman. But there are other questions still lingering, man. And like why did the Star put this out there without a second source? Did they have permission from the family of the victim? Did the doctor have permission from the family of the victim to leak this? Should the doctor have leaked it before police arrested and charged this monster? Was it even necessary to cross state lines from Ohio to India? It's just a ton of questions for an all-around awful story.
Yeah, all around awful, Nige. But I'm deeply disturbed and surprised, frankly, because this is a horrific thing that has occurred, and it's become politicized. But I have not heard any major media outlet nor any outrage online from folks about the fact that the gentleman who's been charged for this crime is an undocumented immigrant.
Oh, he was described in, I think, the Columbus Dispatch as a Columbus man arrested.
Yeah.
That was the description. I mean,
So
really?
where is the outrage for the fact that our lax immigration policies have allowed people to come into this country and these crimes are committed? Because listen, no matter how you feel about our immigration policies and the procedure that is necessary to follow in order to become a legalized citizen in the United States, you cannot argue against the fact that if someone is here illegally, had they not been able to cross our border and get here, this crime wouldn't have occurred. And I haven't heard anyone discuss that.
And that's where we start with Attorney General Todd Rokita on Jesse Waters last night, bringing up the fact that you just mentioned, plus talking about this doctor who may have, had some, created a HIPAA violation by leaking this story. Go ahead.
I shouldn't be here, right? I mean, first of all, this is an illegal immigration issue because likely of Biden's lawlessness at the border and everything going on down there. That's why Indiana, as a non-border state, has actually filed several independent lawsuits on that. Then we have the rape, and then we have this abortion activist acting as a doctor with a history of failing to report. So we're gathering the information, we're gathering the evidence as we speak, and we're going to fight this to the end. Including looking at her licensure if she failed to report. And in Indiana, it's a crime to not report, to intentionally not report.
So that's Todd Rokita, Attorney General here in Indiana, on Jesse Waters last night. I got another clip here. Did you have something? Did you have a comment on that?
Yeah, well, Nigel, I have not seen the video, and that's the first time hearing the clip, but did you hear the emotion in Todd Rokita's voice? I have never heard him be that just transparent in his emotion about an issue. And you guys have him on all the time, and I've talked to him, man. I mean, he's clearly very upset about this case.
Well, he went on. Go ahead. Play the second clip.
This girl was politicized for the gain of killing more babies, right? That was the goal. And this abortion activist is out there front and center. The lamestream media, the fake news is right behind it. And unfortunately in Indiana, the paper of record is fake news. And they were right there jumping in on all this, thinking that it was going to be great for their abortionist movement when this girl has been so brutalized.
It really is a tragedy. Thanks for coming on, and please keep us posted on what's going on with this abortion doctor and whether or not she's going to face any sort of scrutiny.
I'm not letting it go.
Good for him.
Yeah, that last part, I'm not letting it go. He released a statement earlier today saying, quote, aside from the horror caused here by illegal immigration, we are investigating this situation and are waiting for the relevant documents to prove if the abortion and or the abuse were reported, as Dr. Caitlin Bernard had requirements to do both under Indiana law. The failure to do so constitutes a crime in Indiana, and her behavior could also affect her licensure. Additionally, if a HIPAA violation did occur, that may affect next steps as well. I will not relent in the pursuit of truth. So people are sort of, his critics are saying, oh, you're more, see, look, this is what's going to happen. They're going to start going after doctors for, abortions. They're going to put doctors in jail for that. That's not what he's saying here. He's saying if there were HIPAA violations that occurred, that we're going to look at that. And also, was there a failure to report? And that's what they're looking at. They're not looking at the actual procedure that was performed here.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm blown away that this whole thing clearly hit him very hard. Nige, Todd Rokita and I might have gotten off to a rough start, but I'll be darned if that guy hasn't really won me over as Indiana Attorney General. I'm like the guy every day.
Like we had some stuff with him with Abdul when he was a moderator at the Senate primary, and I remember he wasn't originally going to go on the debate stage because he called Abdul, what did he say? Like, I'm not going up there, that liberal college professor, something like that. And if anybody, he called in and talked to us about that. If anybody knows Abdul, he's the last thing but a liberal, he's an establishment Republican, if nothing else.
Yeah. I kind of blindsided him on the Tony Katz morning show when I was producing for Tony, and Guy was filling in, and I didn't think Guy was being tough enough on him, so I stepped in and asked a few probing questions, and Todd was not happy with me.
Really? I'm going to go find that.
Yeah. You know what, Nige? That's an interesting point, by the way, because I tried to pull that article up years ago and it's mysteriously vanished from our website. All of that to say, good for you, Todd. I 100% behind you, and he's done a hell of a good job as our Attorney General.
Let's pivot here just a bit. Headline in the Wall Street Journal. The $1.50 Costco hot dog combo that defies inflation.
Yes.
Costco's most popular food court item has stayed the same price since its debut in 1985, despite rising food costs. What say you?
Man, I think this is great, and I've never even had a hot dog at Costco, although I have had a slice of pizza. And let me tell you, they got some good stuff in the food court. But you know what? This is brilliant marketing on their behalf. Now, I imagine that there are a lot of families that are going there more often now because, hey, cheap food. But McDonald's has done this for years with their dollar menu. They have something out there that's kind of like the lost leader, but it gets you through the doors, and then you wind up spending more money.
That's what it is.
Good for them. It also fosters just a good relationship with the customers that they're willing to do that.
All right, we'll be right back. It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Does your financial advisor regularly outperform the market? The way 2022 is headed, I am doubting it. Average index losses already 5 to 10%, then there's inflation. And, of course, the fees you're likely paying your advisor. Dan Dockage here to put a stop to that. Don't let another advisor ride the market down with your money. Instead, do what I've done. Connect with Crown Haven. Crown Haven's priority is to create a secure retirement, free from financial stress. That starts with their registered Retire Shield financial plan. Crown Haven creates opportunities that gives you confidence in your financial future. The result is your happiness in retirement, a retirement that you've worked many years to produce and deserve to enjoy, free from financial worry. To learn more, visit www.crownhaven.com to qualify for a free planning session. Crown Haven is working for me. They can work for you. Go to crownhaven.com or give them a call right now at 765-522-7233. Tell them Dan sent you to Crown Haven Wealth Advisors.
This time of the year in the summer, Diamonds Direct hosts a spectacular store-wide sale, and it's happening this weekend with an extra 20% savings on virtually all diamond and fashion designer jewelry, from rings and earrings to bands and bracelets and so much more. This is the perfect time to shop for yourself or the one you love during this 3-day event. An extra 20% savings on a multi-million-dollar selection of fine fashion and bridal jewelry. Don't miss this weekend-long event, this Friday through Sunday only at Diamonds Direct. Details and more at diamondsdirect.com.
Are you a mechanic or work on tractors on the farm? Come join the team at Reynolds, your hometown John Deere dealer. They're now hiring service technicians from any industry or mechanical background at all 5 of their central Indiana locations. Whether just out of high school and looking to learn the trade or a seasoned mechanic, there's a career path for you there. Get paid on-the-job training, competitive pay, and excellent benefits at a voted top Indiana workplace 5 years in a row. Learn more at reynoldsfarmequipment.com/careers. That's reynoldsfarmequipment.com/careers.
Hey, this is Spencer Thompson at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus. If you want to sleep better, then you want to sleep cool. And with the new Tempur-Pedic Breeze, you can sleep up to 8 degrees cooler all night long. We guarantee the best price on Tempur-Pedic, Stearns & Foster, and Sealy mattresses with up to 48 months interest-free financing. Free delivery within 75 miles of Columbus, only at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
Hey, it's Big Joe for your trusted local independent America's Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, Reinhardt Heating and Cooling. Owner Danny Reinhardt's daughter Kim says her dad has a daily influence on the way customers are treated.
Dad's built a great business, and it's an honor to be able to keep carrying it on, and his work ethic and the way he treats customers, and that's something that I want to carry on and treat people the same way.
You can call on Reinhardt Heating and Cooling at 317-745-4526. Reinhardt is your trusted local independent America's Standard dealer.
Why? Just think about it. Why is the #1 selling brand of chainsaws not sold at Lowe's or the Home Depot? We can give you over 10,000 reasons. That's how many authorized local steel dealers you can find across the country. Visit one and you'll find a range of dependable gas and battery-powered tools, from trimmers to blowers. And you'll find service from experienced professionals. Real steel. Find yours at steelusa.com. Lowe's and Home Depot are trademarks of their respective companies.
Just 3 words tell you everything you need to know. They tell you why we employ more than 2,000 workers at our factory in Virginia Beach, and why over 10,000 local steel dealers are putting battery power in the hands of Americans. Just 3 words. Made in America. Real steel. Find yours at steelusa.com. The majority of steel products sold in America are made in America of U.S. and foreign materials. Batteries and chargers are sourced internationally.
Now is the perfect time to get into the home of your dreams. Learn more and get pre-approved today at thehomeloanexpert.com. NMLS number 1326241.
Hi, I'm Joe Clark, host of Consider This, found right here Saturday mornings at 6 a.m. Grab a cup of coffee and join me as we talk about things you should consider affecting your financial future.
Don't let summer pass you by. There's still time to add the patio of your dreams. Backyard living starts at indiedecorativeconcrete.com.
My man, Matt Bear, what's up with traffic?
All right, Nigel, heading out of downtown to the northwest side. It's a crash. Northbound 65 after 38th Street Guyan Road. It has the fast lane, and traffic is now stopped back to the 38th Street Guyan Road on and off ramps. Westbound 465, broken down trailer on the right shoulder before Michigan Road. That has a slow to stop and go past Meridian 31. Traffic sponsored by Indy Decorative Concrete. Don't let summer pass you by. There's still time to add the patio of your dreams. Backyard living starts at IndyDecorativeConcrete.com. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
We're at 86 at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center, 93 WIBC.
You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show on 93 WIBC.
We had breaking news earlier. Brian Baker filling in for Jason Hammer. Ivana Trump, who is the ex-wife of former President Trump, dying at the age of 73. It's Don Jr., Ivanka, and Eric Trump's mom. Like you said, Brian, earlier, there was a contentious relationship, awful. What did you say? A Bert and Lonnie style divorce.
Yeah.
And then, they ended up kind of falling back in line, and that's it.
You know what else I read about them, Nigel, is that apparently throughout the course of their marriage, they had negotiated 4 different prenuptial agreements. Can you imagine that? I mean, it always seemed goofy to me to have a prenup anyway, but then on top of that, throughout the marriage, you're getting your lawyers together and they're fighting it out, with revisions. That's amazing to me.
There's an article in New York Magazine. I think Trump's on the cover, and here's the headline. Donald Trump on 2020. They did an interview with him. Donald Trump on 2024, quote, "I've already made that decision." In an interview, the only question left in his mind is when he'll announce.
He's a master showman.
He really is. And, here's the question. Okay, first of all, that's the question. When is he going to announce? But the other question is, should he run? Do mainstream, down the road, middle of the road Republicans and independents want him to run in 2024? And could anybody beat him in a GOP primary?
Well, that's the big question, right? Because if there's anything that we've seen from Donald Trump is that he does know how to kind of navigate things and manipulate the media to keep himself front and center. So I'm sure that he would be a strong candidate. Should he run? Look, man, I think that I count myself amongst a lot of folks who probably feel like Donald Trump, man, we would have preferred to have him in the White House over Joe Biden.
Oh, yeah.
And he certainly had my vote. But now that he's out and the damage has been done, and there is so much political baggage that comes along with the name Donald Trump, I would rather have someone like a Ron DeSantis in the White House who can bring all the policies without bringing the baggage.
Yeah, there's part of me that thinks the Democrats want Trump to run, and maybe even goading him into running in 2024 because they think that it's going to, it'll be 2020 all over again in terms of bringing the masses out that more or less voted not so much for Joe Biden, but against Donald Trump. And I really don't think I don't want to see like DeSantis and Trump on a debate stage together, because I think that's going to divide the Republican Party even more. I think DeSantis is young, and we're talking about the governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis. He's done very well, very popular with Republicans. He's got an election to win next year, and I don't necessarily think it'd be a bad thing if Trump says he's going to run, DeSantis sits out and just waits another 4 years, and that'll be that.
Yeah, I suppose he could do that, although I do, look, if the two of them are both in the primary and they battle it out and it splits the Republican Party, there's still going to be a victor at the end. And so at that point in time, as a conservative, you got to make a decision about whether you really want to see some improvements in the economy and better policies. I am more concerned about Joe Biden not running. I want that man to run because we know from the polling data that if you just look at it, had the election been held today, that Donald Trump would be elected president. Folks got a bad taste in their mouth and they realize they made a big mistake. And so I'm more fearful about the Democrats putting someone fresh in that position that might be able to steal away some of the middle of the road moderate voters.
We're coming back. It's the Hammer and Nigel Show, 93 WIBC.
Hey guys, it's Robbie Raw. As an RN and health and fitness expert, I know that self-care from head to toe is so important for a healthy, fit lifestyle. One of my secrets for staying active, fit, and pain-free are my amazing art supports from the Good Feet store. It's not just about what shoes you wear, it's what's in them and how your body aligns from your feet on up. I'm telling you, these were a game changer for me. I am as active as ever, and I feel like myself again. If you have foot pain, knee, hip, or back pain, the first thing you should do is visit the Good Feet store for a free personalized fitting and test walk. I'm not going to stop living my best life anytime soon, nor should you. To be the best version of you, you need to take care of yourself, and the Good Feet store can make that happen. And by the way, when you feel great, you look great, and that's the raw truth. Learn more and find the location nearest you at goodfeet.com.
There's a reason Comcast Business powers more businesses than any other provider. Actually, there's a few. Comcast Business offers the fastest, reliable network, the peace of mind that comes with Security Edge, helping to protect all your connected devices, and the most reliable 5G mobile network. Want me to keep going? I can. Whether your small business is starting or growing, you need Comcast Business. Technology solutions that put you ahead and give you serious savings. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Get internet and security for just $60 a month when you add mobile and save $480 your first year. Plus, ask how to get a $500 prepaid card with a qualifying gig bundle. Limited time offer, restrictions apply. Requires EcoBill and autopay. New Comcast Business 250 megabits per second internet and Security Edge customers only. 2-year agreement required. Equipment installation, taxes, and other fees extra and subject to change. Must add mobile within 90 days of internet install and keep all services for 12 months to receive discount. Comcast Business Mobile utilizes the network with the most Root Metrics 5G data reliability wins in 2H 2021. Results may vary. Award is not an endorsement.
Joint pain is a pain, but you don't have to suffer from it. Whether it's arthritis or an injury, you know the traditional treatments you go through, pain meds and steroids and then surgery, right? It's Tony Katz here. There is great news. A better way right here in Indianapolis from the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative medicine, and they have offices in Eagle Creek and Greenwood. QC Kinetics is an advanced natural alternative that can give you lasting relief using your body's own healing power. Listen, steroid shots are toxic to your joints. Pain meds are addictive and nobody wants to go under the knife. It's 2022 and those old ways are out. The new ways are here in Indy. Regenerative medicine can restore and repair damaged joint tissue using natural biologics. No drugs, no downtime, no surgery. QC Kinetics regenerative protocols can address any pain in any joint and give you quality of life you deserve. Call now. Schedule your free consultation. QC Kinetics, 463-235-7160 in Eagle Creek and Greenwood. That's 463-235-7160.
Hi, it's Bob from Royal Spa. Soaking in a hot tub full of Epsom salts is the absolute best way to minimize everyday aches and pains. And we know all about Epsom salts at Royal Spa. Royal Spa hot tubs are the only hot tubs on the market that can safely and effectively use Epsom salts. Made right here in Indiana, Royal Spa hot tubs are the highest quality hot tubs on the market. Visit any one of our 3 Indianapolis locations or visit royalspa.com.
Ah, Royal Spa.
At 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning, our comfort specialist can handle any AC repair. Call 855-1HOUR for $50 off your repair or visit onehourair.com.
Always on time or you don't pay time.
Terms and conditions may apply. Independently owned and operated, licensed in their respective state or county.
Listen right here this weekend to Everyday Wealth with Soledad O'Brien and Gene Chatsky, presented by Edelman Financial Engines. For airtimes, visit everydaywealth.com.
When the weather turns severe, turn to the WIBC Storm Desk, presented by Technology Recyclers. Recycle your e-waste. Visit tech-recyclers.com.
Coming up in 2 minutes, how long one senator thinks this high inflation could last, a new suicide hotline in Indiana, and an inconvenient glitch in Zionsville. All that and more after Fox News Radio from the Shepherd Community Center studios. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 5 o'clock.
This is a Fox News alert. I'm Mary Corsetti. Ivana Trump, the first wife of Donald Trump, has died in New York City. The former president announced it on social media Thursday, posting, quote, "She was a wonderful, beautiful, and amazing woman who led a great and inspirational life. Her pride and joy were her 3 children, Donald Jr., Ivanka, and Eric. She was so proud of them, and we are all so proud of her. Rest in peace, Ivana." In 2017, Ivana joined Fox and Friends, where she spoke about meeting Donald Trump for the first time.
Donald was calling me every day and say, "Ivana, if you're not going to marry me, you're going to ruin your life."
Ivana wrote in her 2017 book that they still spoke about once a week. Meanwhile, the widow of slain journalist Jamal Khashoggi says she spoke to White House officials about President Biden's meeting with the Saudi Crown Prince Friday.
Jamal Khashoggi's widow Hanan telling Fox News that the White House has assured her that when President Biden meets Friday with Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, that he'll address the murder of the Washington Post journalist at a Saudi consulate in Istanbul in 2018, as alleged by Turkish officials.
It did reassure me the human rights issue, and on top of it, my husband's tragedy, it will come up.
The White House telling Fox News that it is not in the habit of talking about private discussions. The Biden administration previously vowed to treat the Saudis as a pariah state, though now forced to soften that stance as Biden seeks help with high gas prices.
Fox's Jeff Manasso, and the June Consumer Price Index report shows year-over-year inflation grew to 9.1%. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell is blaming the American Rescue Plan for the inflation. On the story with Martha McCallum.
One clear reason we are suffering from 40-year high inflation. The $1.9 trillion so-called rescue package passed last year.
President Biden and Democrats argue that inflation is being driven by COVID-19's impact on supply chains and Russia's invasion of Ukraine. America is listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
It could take a while. 86, partly cloudy. Shouldn't get much warmer than that today. Lows in the mid-60s later. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 5:02. With trips to the grocery store getting more expensive, you might be wondering when inflation will let up. Indiana Republican Senator Mike Braun, talking to Fox News, says it may take a while.
When Volcker took interest rates up to nearly 20% in the fall of 81, it took until 1986 to get back down to 2%.
That's 5 years. But Braun says the country is in so much debt, it might be harder to come out of inflation this time around. He says having a good economy before the COVID-19 pandemic might make it easier. If you have thoughts of suicide, help is a phone call away, and that call is about to get easier. Eric Berman reports.
Saturday is the deadline for state call centers to adopt the new 988 hotline number. Indiana's 988 service is already active. Suicide Prevention Director Chris Trapeau with the Division of Mental Health says Indiana's call centers are still expanding to handle an expected increase in call volume.
We're onboarding 2 additional 988 centers and have been working to strengthen partnerships with 211 and the Be Well Crisis Helpline, which of course could be accessed via 211.
Family and Social Services Secretary Dan Rosiniak paired the announcement with $100 million in new mental health funding. Eric Berman, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
A glitch in the system Zionsville uses to keep their money in order is preventing them from paying their bills. At the moment, town leaders can't see how much cash the town has, owes, or what bills need to be paid. Town Council President Jason Plunkett was talking about it in a meeting this week. The council is scheduled to meet next Monday, but that meeting has been canceled. Indiana State Police arrested 4 people Wednesday who were trafficking drugs in Lawrence County. Dylan Meadows, Christine Blackburn, Bradley Crawford, and Allison Dalton were all arrested. Police say the 4 were part of an organization distributing meth, heroin, and cocaine in Indiana. You may have played the online puzzle game Wordle on your phone. The New York Times is now working with Hasbro to make it a board game. How the game will work is still a bit of a mystery, but a Hasbro executive says the company was inspired by how shareable the results were on social media. You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 5:04.
Hello, Indianapolis. Looking to save money on your wireless bill? You can when you choose Consumer Cellular. Sign up today and you'll get the exact same coverage as the leading carriers for half the cost. This gives you direct access to the widest, most established cellular networks available. Consumer Cellular offers flexible monthly plans with no contract and simple, affordable service that's perfect for your lifestyle and budget. Featuring a wide variety of top-of-the-line phones from Samsung, Motorola, and Apple, you'll find a phone that's perfect for you. Everything is backed by a 100% risk-free guarantee, plus 100% U.S.-based award-winning customer support. Switch your talk, text, and data today and save up to $250 a year. Right-size your plan and downsize your bill with Consumer Cellular. Visit consumercellular.com/Indianapolis to start seeing the savings today.
With traffic on the 5s, here's Matt Baer.
All right, Harrison, crash coming out downtown to northwest side, northbound 65 after 38th Guy, and the fast lane is blocked, and we're backed up about a mile. Coming into downtown, southbound 65 stops at 21st, and eastbound 70 stop and go from Harding Street, a little before Harding to Meridian, Illinois. South side, eastbound 465 jams after Kentucky over to the White River, then stop and go from Harding over to Emerson Avenue, and on the east side, southbound 465 stops at I-70. Let's go around South Shadeland. Traffic sponsored by Fresh Time Market. Get ready for summer at your local Fresh Time Market with a pound of strawberries, just $1.69. Now through July 19th. Get real. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Now the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
For tonight, mostly clear, dry, low temperature right around 65 degrees. Tomorrow starts off dry. Clouds will increase in the afternoon. There will be a chance of an isolated shower or storm once we get to the afternoon and evening. High temperature of 85 degrees. Saturday brings an isolated rain chance in the morning. Should be sunny once we get to the afternoon. The better chance of rain moves in Saturday night. High temperature of 87 degrees. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Ryan Morse for 93 WIBC.
I'm Harrison Silcox on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel. Can you believe these characters are weirdos? On 93 WIBC. So let's rock it!
Hello, my name is Nigel. Brian Baker is a writer, producer, and host for 93 WIBC. He is filling in for Jason Hammer. Go back and listen. If you missed it, we talked to financial analyst and stock market guru Heather Zumaraga. She was great, Brian, and she brought up and I asked her a question, and she made a great point. I was like, how does inflation, 9.1%, highest since 1981, how does it actually affect average everyday working class people, middle to lower income? And her response was like, yeah, it affects them immensely. And when you consider the rich elites, the Hollywood celebrities, the woke crowd, the politicians, it doesn't affect them in the least. The ones that it affect, and the reason why we're having this right now is because of Biden's energy policies. This is a huge reason why, and it's only affecting the people most vulnerable to it. It's not affecting the rich and the elite at all.
Yeah, and I mean, this is the most tone-deaf administration of my lifetime, Nigel, but at least they've stopped pushing some of this crap about, you should go out, you should get an electric car, and, you should get yourself these solar panels.
I swear to God, I just saw a headline that said electric vehicles pushing the power grid. The power grid is now having trouble keeping up with charging electric vehicles.
Yeah, and where does that power come from? Coal-fired power plants.
yeah, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but you're making a great point about solar and the wind and all that stuff comes from China. I don't know about the windmills, the solar wind, but I know those solar powers, those solar panels are coming from China, and the lithium batteries and all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's great to be able to supplement, but I think, if we're being realistic here, if we're not going to do the oil and the gas and the coal thing, then we're going to have to go to nuclear, which would be awesome. But yeah, I mean, we're not set up. We don't have the infrastructure for it.
It doesn't have to be a binary choice. It doesn't have to be either or. We could still be constantly working on solar and that type of energy. But when at the same time we could be pumping our own oil, producing our own energy, but no, Biden shut that down. What I'm saying is it doesn't have to be an either or. We could work on both at the same time. Trust me. At one point, my wife and I were looking at each other and maybe we should look at an electric car. And then by the time we saw the price, the average price of an electric car is like 50, 60 grand, and it's a Buttigieg with you should go buy an electric car. It's the new let them eat cake.
Yeah, not on my salary. By the way, those windmills, Nigel, I used to see when I lived in California, I would go to Palm Springs. There are tons of them on your way to Palm Springs. And now I see them when I come back to visit family. I was coming up Highway 13 here in Indiana, and you see them, in the cornfields. They're massive. And whether it's in Palm Springs or it's here in Indiana, anytime I see these areas where they're all laid out, about half of them aren't turning at all. And then you have the solar panels. When I was in LA, they had this huge solar panel farm that was out in near the city of Las Vegas, just right out there in the desert. And it gets so hot out there that environmentalists became outraged because they had just a massive section of these solar panels, and it was so hot that when birds would fly into the zone, they would just immediately like smoke. It was like just that was it.
So wait, they wanted the solar energy. They loved the solar panels until they learned that it was killing birds.
Yeah, and I mean, it was just like, it was a quick death. I mean, literally, it was just like you'd see it. It was like a little puff of smoke. That was it.
Incinerated it. Joe Biden, the president, is trying to put it's the classic spin on when the 9.1% inflation numbers dropped this week. He's trying to say, well, it's not accurate because the gas prices are coming down, so it's not an accurate number. 9.1 for the past 2 weeks they've been coming down. So gas prices have not come back down to May levels yet. They've not come back down to June levels yet, or for that matter. This month they're way up year over year, and it's not the only issue when it comes to inflation. And I think surging gas prices drove inflation in some part.
Yeah, and, a prolific orator, Kamala Harris, has been making the rounds, and she's one of those that continues to push we're going to do what we need to be doing, which is what we are doing, which is to do the things that are necessary to do to bring down prices. And I wish someone would ask her in the midst of one of these big statements and, kind of trailing off, what is this actual plan that you guys actually pretend to have that's somewhere in like an old dusty filing cabinet that is the let's cut inflation? Because the truth is, man, other than what they can do on the domestic energy front, a lot of this stuff is out of their hands.
And speaking of domestic energy, I mean, Donald Trump, under his administration, love him or hate him, we were energy independent. We were exporting oil. Yeah. We were we're the number one exporter of oil. We did not need to go hat in hand to Saudi Arabia like Joe Biden is this week, part of his first Middle East trip as president of the United States. We are talking about energy security in the Middle East and the Saudis, and they're bringing Israel closer together and things like that. And don't forget begging for more oil. So it should be a little strange when he gets to Saudi Arabia and they bring up, hey, remember when 2019 when you said we were pariahs? Remember that? And you want us to give you more oil now?
Well, I can guarantee, I tell you this, Nigel, I promise I can guarantee he doesn't remember.
He doesn't remember saying that. He just shrugs his shoulders and says, hey, I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, can we have some more oil, please? But before
did you see the clip of him, by the way, I'm sorry to interrupt. Did you see a clip of him, right after he announces he's going to be real careful traveling overseas, not having physical contact with anyone because of the virus? And it was a few hours after making that bold proclamation. He's shaking hands and giving people hugs.
Oh, he's letting people breathe in his mouth. I mean, it's just awful. It was gross.
Well, yeah, we know, though, Biden can't keep his hands to himself, so we knew that promise wasn't going to stick.
What about that footage? What about that? You posted the article, another clip of him sniffing a little girl's hair earlier this week. It was he can't stop sniffing kids. Go to WIBC.com on the Hammer and Nigel page and look at that footage. It's gross. What are you doing, old man? It's awful.
I don't understand, man.
Hey, you were talking about how those birds were incinerated when they'd fly into those super hot solar panels. A Florida woman, something similar happens in Florida sometimes when, not similar in the fact that they turn into smoke, but iguanas down there, like when it gets cold and very rare times that there's a freeze. Like in Tampa St. Pete, they had to issue a statement telling residents if they find any frozen iguanas on the ground as a result of the cold weather, do not pick them up, do not throw them away, just leave them where they are. Oh. Because they're not dead. They're just kind of frozen, and they will wake back up.
Yeah, they were like dropping out of trees, right?
Oh, yeah.
They would freeze and just drop out, and they were landing on people.
It's a big problem in some parts of Florida. We were staying in Boca a couple of years ago, and I think those iguanas are just giant down there, fell out of a tree into a transformer, and the last 10 hours we were at the hotel before we left for the airport, we didn't have power because we heard an iguana dropped into the transformer. So this Florida woman found an iguana in her toilet bowl over the weekend.
Ooh.
Here she is finding the unwanted guest inside.
Oh my God, there's an iguana in my toilet. I came down last night at 10:30 to make my little treat, as I normally do, and skipped on over to the bathroom and opened the door and did a quick turnaround because I saw this thing in there and quickly shut the door. He was really big. He took up most of the toilet bowl.
That would be an unwelcome surprise, opening the toilet bowl. If I'm going down late night, mixing a drink, and I might as well go to the bathroom while I'm down here, and I see that thing in there, I'm just kind of shutting the lid back very quietly.
Oh my God, there's an iguana in my toilet.
Matt Berry, ever had an iguana in your toilet?
No, not an iguana. Looking at northbound 65, heading up to the northwest side. It's a crash. 38th Guyan Road, just north of that. Left lane is blocked. Traffic backed up for about a mile and a half. East side, southbound 465, crash between Penn Pike and I-70. The fast lane, again, is blocked. Backed up to Penn Pike. You continue south. You'll be in stop-and-go traffic from 70 to 74. Traffic sponsored by DoMyOwnPestControl.com. You need a lawn care pro and a pest control pro. You can have both in one guy. You. DoMyOwn.com will help you get there with pro products, pro knowledge, and pro support. DoMyOwn.com for the pro and you. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Coming up next, got some audio of AOC being trolled on the steps of the U.S. Capitol. You might be interested in that. It is 85 at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center on 93 WIBC.
Nobody cares for you like family. Heating and air.
When you call to have your home or business's heating and air serviced, what do you expect from them? A salesman in a colorful truck? Or do you expect a highly trained expert with your best intentions in mind? The answer is obvious. Call the company that treats you like family. My name's Molly, and I look forward to answering your call.
Family Heating and Air Conditioning is your trusted local independent American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning dealer.
Nobody cares for you like family. Family Heating and Air.
Hey, how much money have you lost in the stock market? Here's a way to stop the bleeding and potentially make up for some of those devastating losses. Learn how you could get a consistent and competitive return on your money right now and receive a 5, 10, 14, or even a 35% initial bonus on your investment. That's right. And sleep well knowing that your money is protected by some of the top-rated insurance companies in the world. To learn more, call Bill Demery, my retirement guy, at 317-349-5212. Get a competitive return on your investment right now and receive a 5, 10, 14, or even a 35% initial bonus on your investment. To learn more, call 317-349-5212. That's 317-349-5212.
There's a reason Comcast Business powers more businesses than any other provider. Actually, there's a few. Comcast Business offers the fastest, reliable network, the peace of mind that comes with Security Edge, helping to protect all your connected devices, and the most reliable 5G mobile network. Want me to keep going? I can. Whether your small business is starting or growing, you need Comcast Business. Technology solutions that put you ahead and give you serious savings. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Get internet and security for just $60 a month when you add mobile and save $480 your first year.
Plus, ask how to get a $500 prepaid card with a qualifying gig bundle. Limited time offer. Restrictions apply. Requires EcoBill and AutoPay. New Comcast Business 250 megabits per second internet and security edge customers only. 2-year agreement required. Equipment installation, taxes, and other fees extra and subject to change. Must add mobile within 90 days of internet install and keep all services for 12 months to receive discount. Comcast Business Mobile utilizes the network with the most Root Metrics 5G data reliability wins in 2H 2021. Results may vary. Award is not an endorsement.
Your home is your sanctuary. Get the peace of mind you deserve with a free estimate on a Generac automatic standby generator for your home from Generator Supercenter, the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer. With expert installation and 24-hour monitoring, Generator Supercenter won't leave you in the dark. Financing is available. Take control of your power today with Generator Supercenter. Call 317-827-0808. Generator Supercenter of Indianapolis, 317-827-0808.
Man, I slept.
New ZzzQuil Pure Z's Restorative Herbal Sleep is made for people who are tired of being tired.
I've never slept like this before. I've never woken up like this before.
A melatonin-free sleep aid made with a botanical blend that contains clinically studied and effective valerian root, hops, and passion flower, shown to help promote better restorative sleep. ZzzQuil Pure Z's Restorative Herbal Sleep. Sleep this good, feel this good. Available at retailers near you.
Dell's Black Friday and July sale is here. Power productivity with a tech refresh. Now with up to 45% off top-rated laptops like the XPS, along with our special deals on business desktops with Intel Core processors. Get big savings on the latest servers, storage, monitors, and more with free shipping and special financing with Dell Business Credit. Upgrade today by calling 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Inside Indiana Business Radio, the news you need to get ahead. Indiana's business news leader, weekdays at 6:32 a.m. and 5:56 p.m. on WIBC.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by thehomeloanexpert.com.
Get ready to rock. The Hammer and Nigel Show.
Wow, I gotta try this.
93 WIBC.
Oh, that's AOC's theme song. I see what you did there, Mondo. My name is Nigel. Brian Baker's filling in for Hammer. AOC trolled, heckled, whatever you want to call it, on the steps of the U.S. Capitol. She was going in this week. This I don't know. I guess he's a comedian or a social media personality or like some sort of pro-life type of person. Alex Stein. I've actually seen him. He's the kind of guy that goes in front of like city county councils and makes a scene, and he's been on Tucker Carlson before. I've seen this guy. So this video went viral of him heckling AOC as she was walking up the steps of the U.S. Capitol. Go ahead.
See, my favorite big booty Latina. I love you, AOC. You're my favorite. She wants to kill babies, but she's still beautiful. You look very beautiful in that dress. You look very sexy. Look at that booty on AOC. That's my favorite big booty Latina.
Why don't you do a little selfie?
I love it. My favorite AOC. Nice to meet you, AOC. Look how sexy she looks in that dress. Woo, I love it, AOC. Hot, hot, hot like a tamale.
Oh, so that's this guy on Twitter, a social media guy, is a comedian. AOC posted the video and said, here is the video he posted of the incident. I was actually walking over to deck him because if no one will protect us, then I'll do it myself.
Yeah, now, things almost turned to fisticuffs.
Now, my take on this might surprise some people. I'll tell you in just a minute. But it's funny. She talks about how nobody will protect her. I thought, nobody's going to protect us, and I'll do it myself. So she, in that video, she had her mask on outside, of course. And it's like, come get a selfie. Come get a selfie. Yeah, just kind of being sarcastic. And he's calling her a big booty Latina, which, there's some questionable stuff going on there too, but it's funny how she tweeted about like I was gonna deck him because if no one will protect us then I'll do it myself, and I just thought it was odd. She talks about how nobody will protect her when she openly advocated and approved of the harassment of Supreme Court justices and even bragged, Brian, about blocking a vote that would provide more security for them.
Now, I wake up this morning and I start to hear murmurs that there's going to be an attempt to pass the Supreme Court supplemental protection bill. The day after gun safety legislation for schools and kids and people is stalled. Oh, so we can pass protections for us and here easily, right? But we can't pass protections for everyday people? I think not.
So openly bragging about blocking a vote to provide more security for the Supreme Court. And then also you have her mocking Brett Kavanaugh after protesters chased him out the back of a steak dinner last week. What do you think about what you heard there and all that?
Well, hypocrisy is the one area in which Democrats generally excel. They've got that thing down, pat. They really they're tops with that. When I hear that clip, were it anyone else that was being harassed on the steps of the Capitol, I'd actually have some empathy for the person. But with her, I just have such utter loathing for her as a human being that the guy gets a pass from me. But I'm guessing that's not your take, huh?
It's not my take because I don't like it when it happens to Judge Kavanaugh. I don't like it when it happens to the Supreme Court justices outside their house. I don't like it when hecklers chase Kyrsten Sinema into a bathroom. I don't like it when Ted Cruz is chased out of a restaurant or Sarah Huckabee Sanders. So, no, I don't. But I think, I guess the saying goes, what's good for the goose? Here's a tweet from her in 2020 from AOC. The whole point of protesting is to make people uncomfortable. Activists take that discomfort with the status quo and advocate for concrete policy changes. Popular support often starts small and grows. To folks who complain, protest demands make others uncomfortable. That's the point.
Yeah, well, the other thing, though, Nigel, is especially with AOC, this is someone who obviously is an extreme narcissist, but you also see just how delicate her self-image is as well. Because with something like that, man, I mean, listen, you guys, you're on the radio on a daily basis. I write these articles, and I'm on the radio, and people will come at us and lob insults, and, it never bothers me at all. If anything, I really enjoy it. I mean, it's part of the fun of getting to be in this position is having people just tear it. I love that stuff. Like, we get hate mail, send it to me, man. It's going in the keepsake box. And I look at something like this and I go, you're a public figure that is just widely loathed by people on the other side of the aisle. There's an opportunity for her to actually show herself as somewhat likable and kind of play with this guy a little bit instead of pretending like her life was in jeopardy and she needed protection from a guy just hurling some harassing insults while she's marching on up the steps of the Capitol.
Yeah, but I will be consistent. I hate it when they do it to Supreme Court justices. I didn't like the Judge Kavanaugh thing, the following the senator into the bathroom. So, I got to be consistent on this one. All right, one more thing here, and a little bit after 5:30, we're going to go off the rails with Rob Kendall. But Governor, in your former state of California, Governor Gavin Newsom signed this bill that I guess it establishes a code of conduct for gun manufacturers and distributors. And it sort of in a way allows private citizens to sue firearms businesses if they've caused them harm. I don't know how effective this thing is going to be, but what do you think of this new whatever he signed, this executive order that's going to allow people to sue gun manufacturers, which obviously the point is you'll be able to sue them and they'll go out of business.
Yeah, well, listen, they're not going to go out of business. I mean, it's just more clogging things up with frivolous lawsuits. Yes. I'd much rather, if your desire is to decrease deaths and murders and violence, I'd much rather be suing those weak prosecutors across the U.S. than all these liberal judges who let repeat offenders back on the streets. Call me crazy. I think it might be more effective if someone that I love is a victim of gun violence. Chances are I'm probably going after Ryan Mears in Indianapolis versus one of these gun manufacturers. But here's the thing, Nigel. Yeah. I mean, I got a buddy who's a lawyer. He works for one of these companies. It's like a freighter. They have freight trains, and so they ship goods across the U.S. And people get hit by trains every single day here in the United States, and a surprising number of them killed while trying to take selfies. So his job is he sees video all day long of people getting hit by trains, and you would be amazed. There's always a lawsuit, and the majority of the time, the folks that are filing the lawsuit, even if it's a frivolous lawsuit, even if the person that was hit was completely at fault, they will pay out money because they do the math and they say it's cheaper to just write a check versus fighting this in a courtroom. And by the way, that's what happens to a lot of your tax dollars whenever somebody gets arrested and they decide, well, they're pissed off about that, so they're going to file a lawsuit. And the city does the exact same thing. They cut a check because it's cheaper, so just go away and here's your money.
Coming up next, Rob Kendall had a vicious take this morning about Joe Biden's policy on Ukraine, and he's going to go off the rails. We'll talk about that and much more right after the news. 93 WIBC.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
High inflation not going away anytime soon. 86 and partly cloudy downtown, low of 64 tonight. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 5:30. Inflation is becoming a major concern for Americans. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi accuses companies within the oil and gas industry and the shipping industry of taking advantage.
Many of it spring from price gouging by oil and gas companies, exorbitant prices by shipping companies, which has an impact on the supply chain. Supply chain is diminished, costs go up.
Republicans argue inflation rose because the Democrats' federal spending packages, like the American Rescue Plan. Indiana Senator Mike Braun says it may take a while before that inflation lets up.
When Volcker took interest rates up to nearly 20% in the fall of '81, it took until 1986 to get back down to 2%.
Talking to Fox News, Braun says the country is in so much debt it might be harder to come out of inflation. He says, though, that having a good economy before the COVID-19 pandemic might make things easier. If you have thoughts of suicide, help is a phone call away, and that call is about to get easier in Indiana. Saturday is the deadline for state call centers to adopt the new 988 hotline number, but Indiana's 988 number is already active. The state now plans to add 2 more call centers, giving them a total of 5. Town leaders in Zionsville can't see how much money the town has, what money it owes, or what bills need to be paid, thanks to a glitch in the system the town uses to keep their money in order. The Zionsville Town Council is trying to solve the problem. They had a meeting